Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome back. This is the story of what if Naruto was betrayed by everyone, taken by Toby, and became the strongest rogue on a path of revenge. Imagine getting dragged through the mud by your own village, losing everything you care about, only to get snatched up by Toby himself. Yeah, it's that kind of story. Revenge, power, and a whole lot of dark vibes. Before we dive in, don't forget to smash that like button, share with your squad, and hit subscribe for more What If madness. Alright, enough talk. Let's get right into it. Naruto, after fighting Sasuke, was finally carrying back the unconscious Uchiha after having to go through a few enemies before fighting him at the valley. If Naruto didn't have the Kyuubi's power, he would have most likely been dead, but thankfully he was able to beat Sasuke and now carry him back home. The gate of Konoha was just a few inches away, and Naruto already sees a pink-haired Kunoichi standing there smiling as she waited. Sakura-ten. He tried to call out, but was already weak and could barely talk. Sakura, noticing Naruto, called out for Lady Tsunade before running over towards the blonde. "Naruto!" she called. She smiled cheerfully before it slowly went away when she notices Sasuke unconscious. "Hurry and get him to the hospital. We fought like hell that our bodies are practically numb at this point." Naruto then smiled at Sakura cheerfully as he held Sasuke before chuckling. "Told ya I'd keep my promise, Sakura-chan. I never go back on my word," he said. "After all, it's my ninja dash." Naruto then felt a bad, sharp, and hurtful pain in his stomach as his eyes shot wide open, and he looked to see Sakura, inches away from him, and her fist where he felt the pain in his stomach. He collapsed with Sasuke falling next to him as he clutched his stomach with his right arm in pain. "You baka!" she cried out. "I told you to bring Sasuke-kun back alive, not almost half dead," she yelled as the blonde winced in pain. "You can't get a single thing done. But what more would I expect from the dead last? You're exactly what the people say you are. A demon, a monster," she yelled before Tsunade came rushing towards them. Naruto tried to speak, but as soon as he opened his mouth, he began to cough up blood before screaming in pain. His screams echoed as they filled Tsunade's ears as her eyes widened. "Oh no," she thought. She lifted Naruto's arm a bit before noticing he had a hole on the side of his stomach. Must have happened from his battle with Sasuke, and the Kyuubi barely managed to heal it before its chakra went away. Kakashi came running to where the screams came from, and his eye widened behind his mask. "Kakashi, take Naruto to the hospital immediately. I got Sasuke. Hurry quick," she ordered, and Kakashi wasted no time grabbing his student before jumping off in the direction of the hospital. Tsunade picked up Sasuke and noticed he had blood coming out from the side of his head and nose. She then looked at the gray cement on the floor where Naruto was in pain and sees his blood before turning angrily towards Sakura. I didn't know he dash. Save it. You're making it more harder on the kid than it has to be, Sakura," she said coldly as Sakura stood there, tears welling up in her eyes before Tsunade made her way to the hospital. The next day. Today was a brand new day. Kids were out playing with their families and friends or either training. The villagers were happy that Sasuke Uchiha was brought back and was hoping he would make a speedy recovery. But they didn't care one bit about the boy who brought him back. Naruto Uzumaki. He laid up in his hospital bed, his left arm bandaged, and he had bandages wrapped all around his face and body. He basically looked like a mummy. He stared out the window, frowning a bit, as he heard them talking outside his room. "I was able to patch him up. The hole was healed by the Kyuubi during the operation, but his left arm is broken, and he may feel some numbness in his body for about another week," he heard Tsunade say. "The boy heals fast. Watch him the next day or two, he'll be Naruto again and run to Ichiraku Ramen with a bright smile on his face," he heard Kakashi say. "See, can we see him?" He heard Sakura ask. "Please say no. Please say no. Please say no, Bachan," he thought. "Only for about 5 minutes, Sakura. Kakashi, you're welcome to join her if you'd like to," Tsunade said. Damn it, Naruto thought. He heard the door open, and he didn't even bother looking in their direction as he heard Tsunade speak. "Naruto, Kakashi-sensei and Sakura had come to visit you," she said as they entered. "I'll be checking up on Sasuke as of right now. Naruto, once they leave, be sure to get some rest," she said, and the blonde doesn't even respond, and she frowns as she shuts the door, her footsteps trailing off. He looked out the window more before Sakura stood in front of him holding roses. She said, smiling a bit, and he didn't even make eye contact with her. Brought you some flowers, and maybe tomorrow I can bring you ramen, your favorite. She says, trying to cheer him up, but he sits there with no emotion on his face. Here, Sakura said as she placed the roses on his lap. He looked at them for a few seconds, not saying a word to the pink kunoichi. How have you been, Kakashi-sensei? He asked, turning as he let the roses fall down from his lap, and Sakura frowns as she picked them back up. Well, I've been okay, I guess. Kakashi answers as he looked at the boy, frowning. How about you, Omi? Heh, I'm living the dream. Had to go through enemies to get to my best friend, who I considered a brother that almost killed me, and when I bring him back, I get a punch to the gut as a nice way of saying thank you. He says sarcastically as he balled up his fist, causing Sakura's eyes to widen as she felt tears in her eyes, and Kakashi stood there frowning behind his mask. I see. Sakura again placed the roses on Naruto's lap, and he gets angry and throws them across the room, causing Sakura's eyes to widen before she turns to him. What the hell, Naruto? She yelled. Oh, boo-hoo, someone's mad I didn't accept their gift. But oh well, serves them right. He says coldly, You baka, you're so lucky you're Dash. Naruto then turned quickly to Sakura as he felt some pain in his left arm and his rib cage. He looked at the angry Sakura who had her fists balled up. Well, do it then, Sakura, he yelled, causing her to flinch. Do it. I got a broken arm, and I'm not in my best shape and mood. So go on ahead. Hit me like you always do when I'm a nuisance to you. He yelled again, and Sakura unballed her fists as she felt more tears in her eyes. Oh, what's wrong? Gonna cry, Sakura. Like you always do, he says coldly as he watched her stomp out crying. That was uncalled for, Naruto. Kakashi told him, serves her right. She put me through enough. I brought back her precious treasure of an Uchiha back. What more does she want? Naruto argued. Kakashi sighed and decided he shouldn't argue any longer with his student, and he got back up. I wish I could talk a little longer, Naruto, but I have an important mission to do with Guy-sensei. I hope you recover quickly, Naruto. See you soon, he said before walking out the door, looking back at the blonde one last time before shutting it. Sasuke's POV. That was dumb of you to do, Sasuke. Leaving the village and your friends behind. She said, I know. I wasn't thinking straight. All for some revenge, he said, his face showing no emotion. I still intend to have my way with Itachi, but I'll play it smart, he says. I guess so. Luckily, Naruto brought you back. He had just woken up right now. What he got in return was a punch to the gut by Sakura yesterday. Tsunade's response. When she comes back, try to talk to her, please. It would be greatly appreciated. H.N. Sasuke said before nodding, and Tsunade got up saying goodbye before she left to the Hokage mansion to finish the rest of her paperwork as Sasuke looked out the window and over at Naruto's favorite place. Ichiraku Ramen. Naruto, I'm sorry for putting you through so much, he thought before slightly frowning. Naruto's POV. Naruto had finally calmed down and looked over to the roses on the floor that Sakura had given him, and he frowned. I shouldn't have talked like that to her. She was just... ugh, he thought before laying back down. He stared at the ceiling for a few minutes, thinking about everything that had happened over the past day. 2 days later, Naruto was surprisingly healed the next day. His arm moved like it was never broken, and his body was no longer numb from the pain. Tsunade had made a food pill that was supposed to help him heal faster. Sure, it was disgusting to eat, but the boy still chewed through it before swallowing it, and was soon healed in 2 days. Guess that food pill really did work. He smiled as he walked down the streets to Ichiraku Ramen, but then that smile disappeared as he heard the villagers bad-mouthing him again. Welcome, Ayam said cheerfully, turning around and surprised. Huh? Naruto, you're finally out from the hospital. Hey, yeah, told him I heal fast, he said happy. Anyway, I'll just have the usual and with extra pork. Coming right up, she said as her and Tucci start to get it prepared. In about 2 minutes, they finish and out in a bowl and serve it to Naruto. All done, Naruto. Hope you like it. Of course I will. I always like what you dash. Naruto. He heard a female voice yell behind him. Oh, Ino, hey Dash. Shut up. Care to explain why I saw Sakura walking out the hospital, saying how you hurt her? Just because you brought back Sasuke-kun doesn't mean you get to act all big now. You either respect your teammates or you dash. Yeah, because she totally doesn't believe what was said to her after punching me in the gut after I brought back Sasuke. He yelled back as I am, and Tucci listened and looked at the two. So for once, leave me alone, Ino. because your dumbass doesn't even know half of the story dash. Ino angrily then grabs the ramen bowl and splashes it on Naruto. The water was still pretty hot and food was everywhere. "Screw you, Naruto," she said coldly as she stomped off to the hospital to see Choji and the rest. Naruto sighs and frowns as he ate a noodle and pork that was on his lap. Meanwhile, the rest was on the floor. He got up and picked it all up with his bare hands and threw it away and took off his jacket and wiped up the water on floor and counter before reaching in his pocket. He pulled out money and put it on the counter before turning away. "Sorry, Pops, and I'm for the ramen. You can keep the change. Not like it matters anymore," he said before running off home, leaving a saddened Ayam and Tucci. A few hours passed by as Naruto laid in his bed angry and sad at the whole situation. "I brought back Sasuke. What more do these people want?" he asked himself. "We Naruto. It was US that brought back Sasuke. I mean, yeah, but still, it just doesn't make sense. Why can't Bachan put them in that situation so they know how it feels? If it bothers you so much, then let me out. I'll make sure they see you differently, if they're alive, that is. Don't talk like that about my comrades, Kyuubi. I may be mad about it, but you're just making it even worse, especially if you talk like that." The Nine-Tails stayed quiet after Naruto said that as the blonde continued rambling about it. "Why can't they just appreciate I brought him back alive? But whatever, they shouldn't be worried about me. They should be worried about Orochimaru and the Akatsuki." Time skip. Sakura's POV. Sakura was currently visiting Sasuke in the hospital. She had flowers for him and would come to check on him when she got the chance. Sasuke was currently laying in the hospital bed, and he couldn't help but feel guilt after putting Naruto through so much to get him back. All because of some revenge. He spoke. "I understand why you did it, Sasuke. He slaughtered your entire clan. He even killed both your mom and dad along with them too." Sakura said, "I still intend to have my way with Itachi, but leaving the village won't make that revenge happen." He said. It's silence between the two, and Sakura could not stop thinking about Naruto. She felt so bad about herself ever since she yelled at him when he had been through so much to get Sasuke back. "How's Naruto holding up?" Sasuke asked. "He had been released from here, I believe, yesterday, but I haven't really talked or ran into him." Sakura responded. They both sat there in uncomfortable silence. Sakura remembers about the night when Sasuke was leaving the village and how she pleaded for him to stay. That night was a sad night for her, though she was already worried about Sasuke. When he was given the curse mark by Orochimaru, she still couldn't help but feel awful. And when Naruto had finally brought the Uchiha back, she punched him in the gun for no reason. Sakura, Sasuke says, and she looks at him. "Don't always be worried about me from now on, okay? Start to check up on Naruto a lot more." He says, "The dope has been through a lot. He even did so much just to bring me back here. So I asked, please check up on him. He needs it." Sakura looked at Sasuke, still somewhat worried, but nodded. "I will. I promise. From now on, I'll try and be a better teammate." She says, "We'll see." Sasuke responded. Time skip. Naruto's POV. It's currently nighttime, and Naruto had been walking around the village as he heard other villagers verbally abusing him. "He brought back the Uchiha?" "Yeah, right. I find that hard to believe. Remember to never hang around that boy. He's a danger to this entire village. The fourth Hokage deserved better." He heard all kinds of things but chose to ignore it anyway. He decided to go up to the Hokage mountain and sat above the fourth Hokage's head. He sat there for almost 10 minutes thinking about everything that has happened as he looked up at the moon. "Maybe this village will be better off without me," he said to himself. "Not like I'm doing a better job than the shinobi here." "You really think that?" He heard someone behind him say, and the blonde quickly drew his kunai. "Who's there?" He yells out. "Whoa, calm down there, kid," the person said, coming out the shadows. It was a masked man. His mask was orange and had swirls all around it in one eye hole. Naruto then got a closer look and noticed the man was wearing a cloak with red clouds on it. "Akatsuki." He shouted and tried to charge at the man to stab him, but the blade went right through the masked man. "What? I could have sworn my blade connected." Naruto thought. "Sheesh, you're pretty fast for a young boy," the masked man said. His voice was a bit high-pitched. He sounded like he doesn't even know what he's doing. Naruto tried running to the man again, but instead went right through him. "Got me. Oh wait, just kidding, he." The masked man joked and laughed. Naruto started questioning himself about the man. Just who the hell is he? He thought. "Who are you?" Naruto yelled at the man. "Sorry, but according to our rules, we can't really give out information," the masked man said. Naruto was already annoyed by the man at this point. This baka probably doesn't even know why he's here. But I'll be honest, I just came to talk for a bit. The man said as he stood by Naruto. Why in the world would I want to talk to you? One of your group members, Itachi, killed his entire clan, leaving Sasuke all alone. He says, and the masked man scratched his head. You can say that. The masked man nervously chuckled. But just hear me out on this, buddy. The man stood closer to the cliff of the Hokage mountain and looked down at the village as he saw children playing and parents chatting. I'm going to be straightforward. The masked man said, and out of nowhere a plant-like man appeared behind Naruto. We could have been watching you, Naruto. We saw the fight you had with Sasuke at the valley, and boy was that a fight. The masked man said, excited. Naruto was freaked out by the plant-like man who stood behind him. Come on, just hurry and tell him why we're here. The plant-like man said. The man sighed as he slouched before turning to Naruto. Come join the Akatsuki. It'll be a whole lot better than being in this place, he said. Naruto chuckled at the masked man as if everything he said is a joke. Me? Join the Akatsuki? Yeah, like I'm ever going to do that, Naruto said, trying to walk away, but the masked man ran in front of him. Well, we aren't here to capture you after all. We're only here to recruit you. Why would I join the Akatsuki? You all are capturing tailed beasts. Meanwhile, I have one inside me, Naruto argued. This is just a trap. Not necessarily, the man said. If we wanted to capture you, Naruto, we would have done it after your fight with Sasuke, especially because at that time you were weak and had no chakra. The masked man responded. Naruto looked at him, not believing a single word coming out the man's mouth. I don't care. I still won't abandon this village. I won't abandon my friends. The people I care about the same way they care about me. He yelled. Oh, I see, so you're staying loyal to the people you care about. I'm sure they do the same, the masked man said. Just kidding. Only an idiot would believe something like that. Naruto's eyes widened in shock. The masked man's voice had changed. That high-pitched voice had turned deep, and this time the man sounded serious. These people don't care one bit about you, Naruto. That's why that girl Sakura only cared about Sasuke. You had a hole in your stomach right where she punched you. I bet she didn't feel bad for you one bit because of it. That's not true. I know, Dash. And maybe that's why you get abused verbally by everyone in this village. You risked everything when fighting the Shikaku. You even used up almost all your chakra trying to get Sasuke back, but none of these people cared. The masked man said, and Naruto looked into the eye hole and noticed his eye was red and had 3 black dots around it. He has a Sharingan? Naruto thought. These people treat you like you don't belong, Naruto. But us, we won't ever treat you like they do, the man said as he stepped closer to Naruto. You really think these people care one bit about you? From what I see, they're mostly talking about Sasuke being back and not the person who brought him back. Stop. Deep down, I know my friends care about me, Naruto argued in disbelief. At this point, you're making me laugh, Naruto. These people have been nothing but cruel, heartless people towards you. You already have to grow up without any parents, which I'm sure is very hard and painful. But your friends don't care one bit now, do they? The masked man said to the blonde. You've been making life quite easy on them, Naruto. Meanwhile, they'll continue to make yours a living hell. Naruto stood there frowning. He didn't want to believe his enemy's words, but it seemed like everything the masked man is saying is true. He hasn't been getting the same respect he treats his friends and the village. He saved the entire village with the One-Tails attack, but no one cared. Now he's brought back Sasuke like he promised Sakura, but she doesn't care one bit about him. Only Sasuke. Join the Akatsuki, Naruto. We'll treat you with loyalty and respect, and we'll make sure we train you just right, the masked man said as he held out his hand to the blonde. Naruto felt hesitant at first. Sure, he wanted all the abuse to stop, but in order for that to happen, he didn't want to join an enemy. He only plans on making the village see him differently. But then again, it felt like joining someone else is the right way, considering the villagers don't want him here. But still, he thought about it might affect his friends and how bad he'll feel knowing he left them behind. No, they don't need me. They already have Sasuke. Besides, I was never in the picture, Naruto thought. Naruto sighed before looking back up at the man and made his final decision. I'll do it. Naruto slowly lifted his arm and shook the man's hand slowly, still not believing everything the man said. Very wise choice, Naruto. But now that we're on the same team, I think it's time you know our names, the man said, stepping back as he stood next to the plant-like man. I'm Toubi. This right here is Zetsu. The man said, and Naruto looked at Zetsu almost disgusted. Well, we shall get going, but there is just one more thing. Toby said, Zetsu, already on it. Zetsu responded before another full white clone of him grabs Naruto and began sucking his chakra out of him. Hey, get off me! Naruto squirmed. Relax, Naruto. Nothing is going to happen to you. Toby said, and the white Zetsu backed off. Naruto turned and saw a clone of himself standing in front of him. Every detail was put into that clone. It's like Naruto was looking into a mirror. Wait, you're using this clone so he can fill my role here and that way people think I'm still here? Naruto asked, and Toby shook his head. Toby walked up and simply kicked the clone off the mountain and watched as he hit the hard concrete ground below. If these people find out you're no longer in the village, they'll think you left and try to find you, Naruto. So we'll make sure they don't. And luckily this clone didn't turn back to his Zetsu when he died. Toby said before turning around. Naruto stepped up and looked down at the clone. The body laid lifeless there, almost scary. Now, let us go, Naruto, he said, and Naruto nodded before looking at the village one last time. Sorry guys, this is for my own good, he thought as he walked off with Toby and Zetsu. Naruto was currently training with Toby even more. At this point, the rest of the Akatsuki members couldn't lie and admitted that the blonde may even be getting stronger than some of them. He is currently 16 years old and was starting to get along with some Akatsuki members except Itachi, Deidara, and Kisame. He had on an all-black cloak similar to the Akatsuki, but without the red clouds, and had an all-black jacket, similar to Sasuke's, underneath with the Uzumaki symbol on the back. He had on an all-black pants and the shinobi sandals, of course. Toby felt like since he knew the boy wore orange so much, he would have him have on a different color so that no one can try to figure out he's actually alive. Zetsu had been keeping a close eye on Sasuke and noticed how he's improved over the years. He now even has a sword that fits him and helps fight better in battle along with his ninjutsu. Naruto had a white mask that looked like an exact replica of Toby's, and even had a sword, the handle of course being orange. Over the years, Naruto has improved greatly. He mastered the wind-style Rasen Shuriken. He was able to even become friends with the Kyuubi and was now able to go into the Nine Tails chakra mode. His taijutsu was getting better and his ninjutsu was on point. Very nice. Naruto, I can't lie, you might almost be stronger than me, Toby said as he sat next to him. Well, after being stuck in a cave for 4 years and training almost every day, I wouldn't be surprised. Naruto responded. You're right, and because how much you improved, I have an offer for you. Toby responded, and Naruto raised an eyebrow. Follow me. They both got up and walked a few minutes before entering a room where Naruto sees a wall of jars with eyes in them, which made him cringe. But they weren't any ordinary eyes. Sharingan eyes? He said. Toby nodded before grabbing a jar and holding it. These are eyes of the fallen Uchiha that Itachi slaughtered. Toby says as he sets one down. The one you saw with Pain is the Rinnegan, far different from the Sharingan. If you're asking if I want one of these Sharingan eyes, sorry, but I'll pass. Naruto says. Well, there goes that plan. Such a shame. Toby responds as he puts the jar back up on the shelf. Maybe I'll decide to change my mind though. Naruto said, right now, Naruto, you're needed somewhere very important. And that is, you're going to infiltrate the Leaf, spy on them. Watch every move on every shinobi and the Hokage. Toby explained. Tomorrow, at noon, come back and fill me and the Akatsuki in on the details. Naruto began to think of his former comrades again. Their faces, for some reason, just made him angry on the inside. He even thought about if Sasuke had left the village or not. Sasori and Deidara should be about done with their battle. Some of the Hidden Leaf shinobi had come to rescue the Kazekage, but it was already too late. The shinobi involved a pink-haired Kunoichi, Sasuke Uchiha, Kakashi Hatake, and an old woman, along with many more. Toby, Naruto puts on the mask before nodding and turning away. Oh, and don't think this will be easy. If you come across some people you knew, ignore them or don't even turn your attention to them. Toby said as Naruto left the cave. Flashback for years ago, Tsunade still was broken over the traumatic news. He was gone. That cheerful, ramen-loving kid was actually gone. She finished her 3rd bottle of sake and dropped it next to the other 2 bottles, wiping her mouth. Damn it, she yelled as she slammed her hand against the desk, leaving a crack on the wood. She had tears streaming down her face as she thought of the boy's face and his words saying how he would become Hokage. But That was no more. She listened outside her office as she heard Sakura talking to Kakashi about Naruto, with her denying that the boy is dead. Sasuke earlier had walked off into the training grounds where he had been releasing his anger on trees, and if anyone came near him, he would dare to fight them. I don't understand. How? How Naruto? I'm sorry, Sakura, but he's gone? I don't want to believe it either. Kakashi responded as Tsunade heard Sakura crying. She looked out and heard the villagers outside cheering about Naruto being dead as Tsunade grew more furious and guilty and sad at the situation. Why you? Tsunade said as she thought about everything about Naruto. His smile, his energy, his goofy side. Why you? She cried harder just thinking of his name, and she reached under her table for another bottle of sake and took off the cap easily before downing it halfway. Flashback end. Yeah, so they added Granny Tsunade along with the rest of the Hokage. Naruto said to himself as he heard chatter around the village and children playing around. Sorry, Lee, but you came third. Naruto heard someone yell. He turned and saw someone with a green jumpsuit on and with bushy eyebrows carrying someone else on his back. Well, Guy-sensei hasn't changed at all, he thought as he saw the rest of his team come from behind. Piggyback ride. I wonder if Kakashi agreed to that. Naruto said. Naruto noticed a few more people come up, and he smiled just looking at them all. First is 1010. She has grown quite a bit, but still kept those two ponytails on her head. She seemed to not have changed much. Second came Niji. He had become a Jonin and looked much stronger and still had the Sam's look, still serious but same look. Third came Rock Lee. He still had those thick, bushy eyebrows and same hair like Guy along with the green jumpsuit. Naruto then gritted his teeth when he saw the next two people to come up. Sakura. She still hasn't changed. She had good looks, but Naruto felt like her attitude was still the same since he last saw her. She still had the pink hair, but also heard that she is a medic now thanks to Tsunade. And finally is the boy Naruto has despised from time to time. Sasuke. The boy was still quiet and acted like nothing mattered. He still had the raven black hair along with that emotionless face. It's quite surprising he still stayed. I'm beat. You have no idea what it was like having to fight yourself and then have interference with a guy who has sharp teeth like a shark. Tenten said, and that blade was something too. It absorbed chakra, which wasn't helping at all. Lee said, so, Kisame was there too? Yeah, but he gave them one hell of a beating. Naruto smiled. Yeah, but I was successfully able to defeat the puppet guy. Sasori, I think his name was, sure gave me and Sasuke-kun a hard time. Sakura said, well, there's no doubt about it that he's dead. Turns out the mission was a success. Sasuke said, and Chiyo gave her own life just so Gaara can live. We must never let her death be in vain. Sakura said with determination. Naruto stood there not shocked at all and remembered he has a mission to continue, so he walked away from everyone. Whatever kind of battle they had, it seems like Kakashi got the worst of it. Yes, Sasori and Deidara messed them up good. Still a shame we lost Sasori though. Naruto turned the corner only to be bumped into a little boy. Oh, sorry, sir. He heard the boy say, and Naruto looked down at the little boy and was quite shocked. Kanhamaru stood below him, looking at the masked man, who he doesn't know is Naruto. It's okay, kid, Naruto said with no emotion, as if he never knew these people, and he walked off without saying anything else. Konohamaru, you really need to watch where you're going. A girl says. Naruto ignored the conversation between the two and walked further through the village. Hoping this mission goes well, no need to get into any trouble with the people here. Naruto had continued to walk further throughout the village before coming across a flower shop and notices a kunoichi with long blonde hair. Ino's still running the flower shop? Naruto thought to himself. Well, they do say, like mother like daughter, Naruto said to himself as he entered inside. Hello! Welcome to the Yamanaka flower shop. Let me know if you need help. He heard her say joyfully. Naruto actually starts thinking if he should buy something, because why not? He looks around a few minutes before someone else enters the flower shop. Oh hey, forehead. What's up with you? Ino said, and Naruto already knew who she was talking to considering she mentioned the word forehead. Hey, Ino. He heard Sakura say in a low tone of voice. She sounded sad. What happened? Did the mission go wrong? Ino asked curious. No, it went well, though Kakashi-sensei did get roughed up in the process. Sakura said as she sat on a chair next to the table. I confessed to Sasuke-kun. Ino looked shocked at what Sakura had just said. She knew she had a crush on the handsome boy, but never thought she would actually confess. What? What did he say? She asked, jumping, and Sakura stood there even more sad. He has said that, he's not looking for a relationship at the moment. He even said that a relationship is the least of his worries. Sakura frowned. Oh, Ino said. I'm sorry I asked. No, it's not your fault, Ino. Sakura responded before turning to her. That's not the only thing either. She said, oh, what else is bothering you? Ino asked. It's just… Sakura stopped for a second before almost getting emotional as she thought of a specific someone. I just wish Naruto was here, she said. Naruto was looking at some flowers a bit more after Sakura mentioned Sasuke, but then froze when he heard her mention him. I just feel like if Naruto was here, he would have cheered me up somehow. And it's just so different here. There's days I regret the last words I said to him and dash. Sakura then choked on her words as a tear went down her face. Me too, Sakura, me too. Ino responded, patting her back. And there's still people in this fucking village still celebrating that he's dead. Every time it's my birthday, I can't help but cry when you all come except that Baka Naruto. Naruto then had enough of listening to the depressing conversation and left the flower shop angered and began heading to the Hokage mountain. Who was that? Sakura asked. Dunno, he's probably new around here and wanted to check out all the places here. Ino responded. Naruto walked away from the shop, almost in anger. Seems like she misses you, Kit. Naruto scoffed. Yeah, right. Where was all that emotion and caring when I was actually here? He said. Time skip. Naruto found himself on top of a rooftop, but not just any rooftop. This rooftop he was on was where him, Sasuke, Sakura, and Kakashi first introduced themselves when they were picked as Team 7. He remembers every single word from his former comrades and just stood there in disgust. Flashback. All right, guys, how about we start off about introducing ourselves? Kakashi said with the usual bored look on his face. Introduce ourselves? Sakura repeated. Well, what do you want us to say? Well, let's start off with things you like and dislike. Dreams for the future and hobbies. Kakashi said, I'll start off. I'm Kakashi Hatake. I won't be telling you what I like and dislike. Never had dreams for the future, but I do have lots of hobbies. Sakura sighs and turns to Sasuke and Naruto. Well, that was useless. All he did was tell us his name. She said, all right, you there on the right, tell us what you like and dislike. Kakashi said, pointing at Naruto. Naruto had told them about his likes. It consisted, of course, of his love for ramen, and his dream for the future was to become Hokage and surpass every other Hokage. Sasuke's introduction was, however, dark. He told them he was to kill a specific person and restore his clan. The thing that kind of creeped Naruto and Sakura out is that he said it without hesitation. This time it was Sakura's turn. She hadn't really said what she liked and her dream was, but she was clearly hinting that she liked Sasuke and that her dream was to be with him. Well, what do you dislike? Kakashi asked. Naruto, she said, and Naruto sat there embarrassed. Kakashi's first impression of the team was that they're a bunch of idiots, but then started to question himself if they could actually do good by each other. All right, introductions are over. We have a mission tomorrow, he said. Flashback end. Naruto stood exactly where Kakashi was standing when they did that introduction and scoffs at the memory. What a bunch of bullshit, he mutters as he walks away towards the Hokage mansion. Naruto couldn't lie to himself, though. It was kind of nostalgic being back in the village after 4 years. He remembered those days of when he was young and how he would always tell people that he would become the Hokage. Looking back on it, he thought that he was one noisy and troublemaking child. To the Hokage Tower it is, he said. Time skip. Naruto made it to the roof of the Hokage Tower and peeked down to see Tsunade and Shizen there discussing something. Tsunade's POV. Kakashi right now is being hospitalized. That Manjikyu Sharingan can drain a lot of strength, she said. So, what should we do now then? If he's going to be hospitalized for almost a week, Team 7 is going to need a new captain, Shizen said as she picked up her pick. Certainly, well, there is this one man I would like to consider, Tsunade said. And also there is a boy that Dasno wants to join Team 7 considering it's a 2-man squad, she said as if she didn't really trust the boy that could join. Do you have good feelings about this boy? Shizen asked. Not at all. So that's why I'm going to have Team 7's new captain keep a close eye on him, Tsunade says, standing up. And top this whole thing off, Orochimaru has been quiet, and so have the Akatsuki a little bit. She adds on, it's been 4 years since we last heard of Orochimaru. We must stay alert at all costs. Shizen nods before walking out the door to check up on Kakashi and make sure Team Guy and Team 7 are doing okay as Tsunade looks out the window. She sighs as she thinks about the special little boy who saved her life from Orochimaru and inspired her to become Hokage. Naruto, I wonder what you would have done if you were still here. She muttered to herself. Naruto's POV. A new sensei for Team 7, Seems that way, Kurama. And other than a new sensei, they want to replace me with a different dude. Do you blame them? Not at all. If Sasuke had gotten away, and I was still here, they probably would have done this anyway. Well, so far it seems like that's all the info we got from this village dump. Yeah, screw staying here for another day. I'm gonna go back and report this to Toby. Naruto jumps off the Hokage mansion and began jumping from building to building as he left the village, not wanting to be here any longer. Hey, Kurama? He asked. What is it, brat? About those Sharingan eyes Toby had offered me. Do you think it would be cool if I dash? No way. You don't need some special red eyes with black dots that only Uchihas can possess. Yeah, but I can just get them transplanted into me. So, the only power you need is me. I'm not going to have you be using Sharingan most of the time. Well, that's up to me if I want the Sharingan eyes or not. Besides, if I were to use them, I would never forget about you, my fox friend. Humph. Naruto jumped from tree to tree as he took off his mask to feel the wind blow against his face and to get some air from the mask, as well as he headed back to the hideout. So, a new sensei and a replacement for you? Toby said. Correct. Naruto answered with his mask still on. On top of that, Sasori is dead. I heard Sasuke and the others talking about it when they came back. Toby just sighed, not at all surprised at the situation. And Deidara, I don't know about that idiot's fate yet, but there is a good chance he might have gotten away from them. Naruto answered. Well, at least we got the One Tails. Toby responded. Yeah, but on top of that, the Kazekage is alive. Naruto said. How? Deidara and Sasori said they captured him. If a tailed beast is extracted from the Jinchuruki, the host dies. Well, it seems one of people who were with Sasuke and the rest had probably used the reanimation jutsu, but died afterwards. Naruto responded. Toby didn't pay much attention to the whole thing about Gaara being resurrected, because either way they're getting closer to their master plan. Whatever, I'm gonna have Haiden and Kakuzu take care of the two tails, if that greedy money-loving Kakuzu is up for it. Toby said. Alright, cool. Hope all goes well for them. Naruto responded. But still, what is this master plan you've been going on and on about? He asked. Like I said before, don't worry about it. He said. Naruto sighed in annoyance. He always wondered the hell the master plan could be, but every time he asked, he was left out. Whatever, but I was thinking, Naruto said. About the Sharingans. What about them? Toby said. I thought about it on my way back, and I was thinking that maybe it wouldn't be such a bad idea to have some. He said, and Toby walked away, but soon came back with a jar in his hands. Remember this? I hope you're not just wanting these eyes to look cool. These eyes allow you to see the chakra flow in a person's body. Toby said, handing him the jar. Nice. So should we start now? Naruto asked. Unfortunately not. Toby responded. I gotta head to where Deidara had his battle with the leaf. If you want them in so badly, I suggest going back to the leaf and find a medic who is well-trained. Naruto sighed in annoyance. So, I gotta go all the way back over there? He grumbled. Before he could say anything, Toby had disappeared in a swirling vortex, leaving the blonde in the cave alone. So, even after our talk, you still want those eyes? You really are a little brat kid. Yeah, whatever, but I guess I'm gonna have to go back to Konoha to get them implanted. Damn it, Toby. He grumbled. Why not ask anyone else in the Akatsuki? Because they probably would disagree, especially Pain. Naruto said as he walked off and jumped from tree to tree to make it to Konoha. Well, kid, know anyone from Konoha who could do it for you? Tsunade is the Hokage, and therefore I don't think she would be willing to talk. Sakura probably still hasn't changed, so I got a feeling if I were to threaten her, she wouldn't go down without a fight, where she would either run and warn the Hokage. So, that leaves us with Shizen Tsunade's apprentice. I'm still surprised no one has eaten that pig of hers yet. Well, what are you waiting for? Let's get there quick before it's too late. Sasuke's POV. Sasuke was currently sitting on a tree by the training ground. It's been a few hours since Sakura had confessed to him. Did he regret rejecting her? Well, to be completely honest, not really. Throughout the years, he still hasn't changed. He was still quiet and was annoyed by pretty much everything to this day. But he couldn't lie, sometimes his comrades would put a smile on his face. But through the years, he couldn't help but miss Naruto every time him and Team 7 would go out on missions. Naruto, if you were still here, what would you have done when we were fighting those two Akatsuki people? The boy thought. He was soon snapped out of his thoughts when he heard a soft, angelic voice. Sasuke. He heard the girl, and he looked down to see a long, dark-haired Hyuga. Oh, it's just you, Hinata. What is it? He asked. WL? Tsunade-sama H has summoned YU. She stuttered much to his annoyance. Geez now. He thought. All right, tell her I'll be there. He said as Hinata walked away, but he called her name again, and she turned around. Be safe, he said as he got off the tree. You're actually worrying about me? She stuttered. Well, I have no choice considering the Akatsuki had finally made their move when they stole the One-Tails from Gaara. Sasuke said. Why, your brother. He's a part of the Akatsuki. Right? She asked, and Sasuke just stared at the ground. He still intends to have his way with Itachi. Throughout the years, any enemy he came across, he pictured them as his older brother. He still continues to promise himself he will kill Itachi. That's right, Sasuke said. Hinata couldn't help but feel bad for the Uchiha. To have your entire clan slaughtered by none other than your brother. She felt horrible just thinking about it. WL? I'll be seeing why. You some other time. Sasuke-kun? She said, walking off. Yeah, back at you. He muttered before walking off in the direction of the Hokage Tower as sunset approaches. Naruto had finally made it to Konoha after his talk with Toby. He had on a different mask and earlier did a jutsu where his hair turned from blonde to dark brown. He was looking around the village, hearing conversations between families about how Sasuke was getting praised for helping defeat Sasori. He looked around longer, then he eventually bumped into someone without realizing. Hey, watch where you're going, Baka. He heard a voice say before a dog also barked at him. He turned to see a boy his age with brown hair and a big dog next to him and a girl with bright, weird eyes and long, dark hair. Hinata and Kiba, huh? He thought. Hey, did you hear me? The boy said again. K, Kiba, could you please let's just go? Hinata begged, and Kiba had put his hand on Naruto's shoulder. Naruto drew his sword and held it up to Kiba's neck as Hinata yelped and slightly jumped and Akamaru barked. Listen here, dog breath, and listen close. Naruto says coldly, you put your hand on me again, I'll make those eyes of yours never see the sunlight ever again. You got me? He demanded, and Kiba nodded quickly. Yeah, man. Whatever you say. He says as Hinata steps up. I'm sorry about this, sir. Kiba-kun sometimes acts up like this. Please forgive us. She said, bowing as Naruto slightly scoffed behind his mask. Apology accepted. Naruto said, withdrawing his sword before walking away, as Kiba held his throat and Akamaru whined. Dude's got one hell of a grip, he said as he watched the strange dude walk away. Naruto then turned the corner to see two of his old comrades again, and he sighs in annoyance. Come on, Tintin. I'll pay this time, I promise. He heard the boy with very thick, bushy eyebrows plead. Lee, how many times do I have to say it? I already ate earlier. Are you trying to get me to the same body size as Choji? Tintin responded before turning and walking into Naruto, her face buried into his chest. Oh, sorry there, Tin, ma'am. Naruto said as Tintin looked back up. Sorry, it's my fault. Tintin responded before getting out the way, so the man she doesn't know is Naruto can get by. Geez, that was close. Naruto thought as he looked back at the kunoichi one last time before bumping into someone else. Gah! I swear you have to dash. He heard a feminine voice stop. Naruto looks to see Sakura standing there. You gotta be shitting me, he thought. Mom. Naruto responded, and Sakura looks at him suspiciously. It's okay, she said before turning back around, explaining to two little Jinin about medic stuff. Naruto sighed in relief as he finally saw Shizen come out of the hospital tired before she walked in her home. Perfect. Shizen locked the door and noticed her window was open. She didn't sense anyone nearby, so she thought she might have left it open this morning. She sits down on the couch exhausted after her hard work at the hospital, while Tsunade was in the tower filling out paperwork. Geez, what a long day, she whispered to herself. Tell me about it, she heard a deep voice say as she reached in her pocket, but was immediately stopped with a sword was held up to her throat. If I were you, I'd think about the outcomes of this situation, Naruto said, and Shizen slowly put her hands up. What do you want? She asked before swallowing and letting out a breath she didn't know she was holding. Your service, Naruto responded. I need a skilled medic for this, and that pink-haired kunoichi out there does not look like she would have made this easy. So I came to Princess Tsunade's apprentice. He responded before moving the blade of his sword closer to Shizen's throat. All you have to do is listen and you live. Got it? He asks, and Shizen nodded in fear. Good, he said before withdrawing his sword and reaching in his pocket. Naruto pulls out a jar with 2 Sharingan eyes and puts it in Shizen's lap, and she looks at him in fear. Relax, he tells her before doing a hand sign, and a shadow clone appears by him. Now I'm gonna need this to go in my eyes. You think you could do that? He asks and shakes her head fearfully. I'm out of chakra. I've just healed Kakashi in the hospital dash. Yeah. Yada 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 whatever. I don't care about Kakashi. I care about this. He said before taking the feared Shizun's hand and giving her some of his chakra. She felt less tired now, and Naruto felt somewhat tired as he backed off and took off his mask, but had on another mask that looked like Kakashi's except his whole face was covered and not his eye holes. Well, get a move on. Oh, and if you try anything, well, my clone friend here will kill you right now, before we both leave this piece of shit village with that piglet of yours and have ourselves a feast on some nice bacon. He says, and Shizen grabs her medic kit and lays it out before grabbing a syringe with a needle and filling it with liquid. I'm gonna inject this into you, so you fall asleep, that way you don't feel the pain. She says, I know. He said before Shizen injected the fluid into Naruto's system, and he slowly began to pass out as Shizen puts on some gloves and reaches in the jar, gagging as she holds the eye. You better not crush those eyes either. I'm not about to waste time going back for the other one. The clone said before Shizen got to work. A few hours later, Naruto began to wake up staring at the ceiling before he noticed he had a bandage on his right eye. He looked over to the jar and noticed and saw his blue eyes and they're floating, and he grinned. So it was a success. He whispered to himself, Why, you're up. He heard Shizen say at the table, and she was holding something in her hand, a picture. What's that? He asked. A picture. Yeah, no shit, but what's on the picture? He asked her, and she scoffed. So bossy and grumpy. Jeez, she said, and Naruto rolled his eyes, but his eyes hurt from the rolling. Shizen turned the picture around and showed him, and Naruto looked at it, shocked on the inside. His name is Uzumaki Naruto. Shizen started off. He was the most joyful kid I ever met. He even saved Tsunade from our enemies when they first met, and even told us how he's going to become Hokage. She said, sadly, a couple of years ago, some AMBU saw him on the ground by the Hokage mountain, dead, and that dream was ruined. She said, and Naruto just wanted to crumble the picture, but instead didn't. I'd give anything just to have that kid back. She said, frowning. Naruto had tears in his eyes before he handed it back to her and wiped them before walking back and grabbing his mask and stuff and opened Shizen's window and puts a leg out before turning back to her. He looked as if he wanted to say something, and Shizen looked back up at him. But before he could say something, Naruto had left her home, not even worried if she were to alert Tsunade. Naruto is currently on his way back to the Akatsuki hideout him and Toby always stay at. He was trying desperately to not use his eyes when looking around, because even after 15 minutes of them getting transplanted in, they still hurt like hell. It hurts to the point Naruto has to turn his whole head just to look around him, which was clearly annoying. Silence filled the dirt road that helps lead him to the cave. Nothing can be heard except the birds chirping and the waterfall below. He looked down at the long drop as there laid rocks in the flowing water. My eyes are killing me. Naruto said, Hey kid, want to know something? What? You could have asked that medic to use the Mystic Palm Jutsu, so that pain in your eyes would have been gone. Naruto then stopped in the middle of the dirt road, just staring at the dirt, before mentally turning to the Kyuubi, looking dumbfounded as he slouched. That's right. Shizen could have had that damn jutsu. He mentally yelled as the Kyuubi sort of chuckled. Even after these years, you're still dumb. I say, why didn't you suggest that the moment I woke up after she was done putting them in? Figured you would have known. I could care less about what that medic had. Besides, I wanted to get a bit more sleep. You're really the laziest tail beast there is, I bet. All you do is sleep and tell me things last second. And when you were younger, you would always down almost 15 bowls of ramen. Heck, you'd even eat it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner at times. Naruto. He heard a voice which made him come out of his mind as looked over to see Kisame standing there. Oh, it's just you. Shark lover boy. Naruto said, seeing that you came from the direction of the leaf, must mean you're heading back to the cave, correct? Yeah, what's it to you? Naruto said harshly. Well, Toby had just told us that you're getting the Sharingan eyes transplanted. Kisame told him. Already done it. My eyes hurt like hell, and the Sharingan hasn't activated, yet due to them being transplanted earlier. Naruto said as he walked away. Perfect, Kisame said, and Naruto then felt like he was rushing towards him, so Naruto drew his sword and turned around. Both of their blades met, and Naruto struggled a bit before jumping back. Idiot, we're the same team. What the hell are you doing? Naruto yelled. Only you think that. Kisame said, smiling. You remember how Samahata works, right? Kisame said, holding up his shark sword. Yeah, that fucking thing eats away at chakra, even if the cut on a person's body is the size of a paper cut. Naruto yelled as he tried to ignore the pain in his eyes. Still, what the hell are you doing trying to kill me? Kisame rested the blade on his shoulder as his grin never left his face. The Akatsuki want nothing to do with you anymore, Naruto. You are nothing but a mere child brat who is lost in the shinobi world and can't simply find his own path. Or maybe it's you, who wants nothing to do with me. Naruto yelled back as he charged at Kisame. You really are dumb to put pieces together. Kisame said as he dodged Naruto's sword attack and kicked him away. Bastard. Naruto grumbled as he did a hand sign. Kagebunshin no Jutsu, he said, and a clone had appeared next to him. Naruto, do you seriously think I'm doing this because I'm choosing to? Kisame said, and Naruto paid no attention. I don't care. Naruto shouted as him, and the clone charged at him. Brat, Kisame muttered as he dropped his sword and did a few hand signs. Suidan. Suikoden no Jutsu. A huge ball of water appeared, then transformed into the shape of shark, and Naruto did the Kagebunshin no Jutsu hand sign again. The other clone then grabbed Naruto's hand and threw him in the air towards Kisame with his sword out as he tried to pierce a vital spot in Kisame's body. Kisame, however, is faster and quickly picks up his shark blade and collided it with Naruto's blade as well. Soon a part of the wrapping around the shark sword came off, which almost startled Naruto, and he jumped back. Shark skin's happy, Kisame said. Completely unaware of the two shadow clones, Kisame was then pierced in the back, letting out a painful grunt. He turned his head slowly to see the two shadow clones before smiling as he had turned into water. He never made a clone, Naruto thought as he looked all around before noticing the two shadow clones poof away as they were hit with the Samahata. Damn it, Naruto thought as he looked all around but still couldn't find his now enemy. Kisame then rushed out and tackled the boy all the way to his sword, and he picked it up before he had started to bring it down on Naruto. The blonde barely dodged it before jumping away to get some distance between him and Kisame. He couldn't lie to himself either. Kisame was strong, stronger than him and Sasuke combined. He knew this wasn't going to be an easy fight. Before Naruto could even think of his next move, he then started to feel weak as he dropped down to his knees, dropping his sword. What the hell is wrong with me? Is it the eyes? He thought before he noticed a thin rip in his pants and a tiny bit of blood come out. Seems like I finally got a hit on you, Naruto, Kisame said, smirking as he stood in front of the boy and kicked him far enough that he was on the edge of the cliff. Be bastard. Naruto grumbled as he slowly stood up and tried to punch Kisame, but the man dodged it, and Naruto felt pain in his arm as the Samahata came in contact with it, and blood dripped down, making Naruto even more weak. Naruto fell to his knee again as he held the deep cut in his arm, wincing at the pain as he looked up at Kisame. The man stood there grinning at the weakened blonde. Toby sends his regards. Before Naruto could even react, Kisame had kicked him in the chest, causing the boy to fall off the cliff and down into the river. Kisame heard a faint splash as he took a step and saw Naruto's body being carried away by the water. So weak, he thought as he kicked Naruto's sword off into the river as well and walking off. Time skipped. Kisame had made it to one of the other hideouts of the Akatsuki and saw Itachi, Toby, and Zetsu there. The three looked at him, Itachi and Zetsu with no emotions on their faces, and Toby stood there with his mask on, as usual. I suppose it's done, Toby said. Yeah, Brat put up an okay fight, but it's done, Kisame said. Don't you think it would have been better off using him for the ghetto statue to get the 9 tails out of him instead of killing him? Itachi asked. No, I have a plan for statue, but let's not worry about that yet. Uzumaki Naruto is officially dead, Toby said. Quite a shame. It was quite fun having Naruto in the Akatsuki. White Zetsu said. Then again, that brat never knew when to stop talking. Black Zetsu said. You picked the right time for this, Toby. So, I guess that's why you sent him back to the Leaf to get those eyes in, huh? Kisame said. Yeah, but enough about Naruto. Haiden and Kakazu said they've agreed to retrieve the two tails from its host. Stay alert for any Leaf people too. Toby said as a swirling vortex took him away. Sasori gone, now Naruto. How sad. Kisame said, smiling as he walked away. New teammate and sensei? Why? Sasuke asked Tsunade. Because 1, Kakashi is in pretty bad shape and won't be able to go on any other missions for almost a week. 2nd, it's a 2-man squad now. Tsunade said, and we can't keep it that way. We handled ourselves pretty good when fighting the 2 Akatsuki members. Sasuke argued, Tsunade-sama, I wouldn't really mind having a teammate, but throughout the years there hasn't been a problem when it's just us and Kakashi-sensei on missions, so why now? Sakura asked, I'll admit it, you and Sakura carried your own weight and all, but it wouldn't hurt if you had an extra hand to help you two out. Sasuke sighed. He wasn't very supportive of this new teammate and new sensei idea Tsunade had planned, mostly because he felt like the new teammate would have lots of things to learn about when joining, and he wasn't sure if the new sensei would even know how to give orders correctly. Listen, I know these 4 years have been hard. I know you both miss Naruto deeply. Trust me, I do as well. Tsunade says, frowning, and so did Sakura. As much as I don't want anyone to fill his role in Team 7, I'm afraid I must. I'm sorry. Sakura frowned and looked out the window and down at the village before turning to the Hokage mansion, where they found Naruto's dead body. I wish Naruto was here. Would this have happened if I joined Orochimaru? Sasuke thought. Before he could even say anything else, they both heard someone burst through the door and saw a heavy breathing Shizen there. Tsunade-sama, we have a problem. She panted as she walked up to the desk. They all looked at her worried. And what is this problem, Shizen? Tsunade asked. One of the Akatsuki members might be here. In the village, she said, and Sakura gasped as Sasuke's brows furrowed. Tsunade eyebrows furrowed as well as she bit down on her lip before slamming her hand on the desk. Send out every ambu we got. If they're still here, we don't know how strong they can be. Tsunade ordered. Naruto's POV. The water flowed peacefully, and the birds chirped and flew from tree to tree as the wind blew against them. It was a new day, the sun shined bright over all of nature, and there lay Naruto Uzumaki against the hard rock cement, his legs in the water and the sword just above his head. He slowly opened his eyes and looked at the beautiful blue sky with clouds. Am I dead? He thought as he stared at the sky. Probably, what a shame. Baka, you're not dead. Naruto gasped in surprise as he heard the Kyuubi's voice. Besides, if you were dead, I wouldn't even be talking to you right now. Thanks for the info, Naruto said. The blonde slowly sat up. He felt very bad pain in his head. It felt as if it was about to split in half. He had few scrapes and cut marks from his battle with Kisame. He couldn't really feel his hand as much. I was able to heal you a bit while you were out. Thanks, Kyuubi. Naruto slowly got up and felt like he was about to fall again, but stayed up and fought through the pain. He looked over to see his mask. There were a few broken pieces, and it was dirty, but it was surprisingly still in good shape. He picked it up along with his sword. He popped his neck and his fingers, relief flowing through his body. He rested against a rock wall to help keep him standing a bit, as he remembered all that had happened. The last words Kisame said to him kept repeating in his head. Toby sends his regards. Naruto then angrily punches the rock wall, cursing, as he felt pain in his knuckles and a bit of blood trickled out. After all I'd done, this is how they repay me. Naruto mumbled as he took his fist off the rock. What now, Naruto? Naruto hasn't really thought of it as much of what to do, seeing that the Akatsuki don't want anything to do with you. Are you going back to the Leaf? Naruto then thought about the old memories of the Leaf. He remembered all the verbal abuse he received from the villagers. Soon he remembered the academy days, Sakura and Ino always fighting over their precious Sasuke-kun. He remembered all the punches he received from the two Kunoichis and how he wasn't treated fairly. Finally, he thought of Sasuke. He remembered their arguments and how the sole survivor of the Uchiha clan was always quiet and made it seem like he was the best out of everyone. He remembered how he fought Sasuke at the final valley where long ago Madara and Hashirama the first Hokage fought. He remembered the promise he fulfilled for Sakura, only to get punched in the gut by her when he was nearly dead and out of chakra. He bit down on his lip just thinking about these horrible memories that soon his hatred for Sasuke, Sakura, and the entire village grew. And soon he thought that joining the Akatsuki would be the best idea. He stood by them for missions and such, thinking that he had finally been accepted. How he was so wrong. And now here he is, leaning against a rock in anger as his hatred grew even more for both the Leaf Village and the Akatsuki. "No, I'm not going back," he replied to the Kyuubi. The nine-tailed fox looked down on his host in interest of what Naruto has planned. "I'm tired of being treated like a damn toy to everyone. I was willing to give both the Leaf and the Akatsuki my all when it came to helping them, and look where that got me," he grumbled as he walked further, and the pain in his body went away as his hatred took over. "I've now realized that I can no longer depend on anyone anymore except you and myself. I've let everyone get away with this, but now I'm through with the shit," Naruto said as he put on his mask and removed the bandage from his head. "I'm gonna kill the Akatsuki. Every last one of them," he said. "I won't back down from it either." The Kyuubi's eyes then widened in shock as he looked in Naruto's eyes. The Sharingan had finally awakened in his eyes. His hatred grew stronger, and Kyuubi almost chuckled. "Then when I'm done with the Akatsuki, I'm going to destroy the Leaf. I'll for damn sure make it so that they feel the pain I felt throughout all the years I lived in that damn village." He raised his voice. "Those bastards didn't give a damn about me. But when I'm at their fucking doorstep, they'll wish they did, and they'll be begging for their lives," he said, grinning behind the mask. "I'll have my way with Sasuke soon. Both the Akatsuki and Leaf will fall down by my hands. I'll show them what it's like to lose everything they've worked for. Believe it." Naruto finished as he stood tall and went to a specific hideout he would go to back in the academy days. He promised himself he would destroy the Akatsuki and the Leaf. He would do so without remorse or guilt. Naruto Uzumaki is no longer that high-spirited boy who gave everyone second chances. He now had become darker. All the happiness in his heart had disappeared and was replaced by hatred. "I'm all alone now." It's been 2 months since the Akatsuki had turned their backs on Naruto. He had been training a lot and was getting a bit stronger throughout the days. He had recently heard that the Akatsuki had also captured the Two Tails, and he remembered the two that were supposed to capture the Jinchuriki. Kakuzu and Haiden had finally made their move. He talked to himself. Kakuzu was probably doing it for money, the greedy bastard. Naruto got up from his training. His ninjutsu had been getting better, and he was currently getting better at working his new ninjutsu, the wind-style Rasen Shuriken. He was also starting to get used to the Sharingan as well. It was really different. He understood why the Uchiha was mostly useful for this power. Naruto could have already been taking down a few of Akatsuki members, but Kurama insisted that he'd keep a low profile first and be planning out how to take them down. He was with them enough to know everyone's strength. He knew so far the strongest people in the Akatsuki is Pain, Tobi, Itachi, and Kisame, Haiden, and Kakuzu. As much as he wanted to take down Kakuzu and Haiden first, he felt like he should start off smooth first, and he was doing it tonight. "Kurama, build up plenty of chakra. We're going to be heading out in a little bit. Deidara probably misses us," Naruto said, smirking as he got up. "He heartless? I like it, Naruto. I could use a little warm-up before taking on the rest of the Akatsuki. But knowing Deidara, he isn't going to want to take things so easily. How will we find him?" Naruto then sighed thinking about it. He wasn't sure how they could exactly pinpoint Deidara's location, so this was going to be hard. Naruto, then having no choice, takes a deep breath and knew he'd have to meet up with someone to find his enemy. "I'm going to go talk to Orochimaru, see if I can talk him into helping me," Naruto said. "Not sure about that one kid. Why not find the Akatsuki ourselves? Doesn't matter. Sooner or later Deidara would have to face consequences," Naruto responded. Naruto then jumped out of the trees. He remembered where Orochimaru's hideout was because he had gone there a few times with the Akatsuki. His fists clenched as he thought about beating them all so horribly that there wouldn't be a single trace of them left. Flashback. Naruto was still following Tobi and Zetsu on the way to the cave. He was no longer a part of the Leaf Village. He felt horrible on the inside, leaving the people he cared about, but at the same time he felt relaxed. They all made it to a cave where Naruto saw 4 more Akatsuki members, Itachi being amongst one of them. He gritted his teeth and clenched his fists as he looked the raven-haired Uchiha, He looked so much like Sasuke, just older. What is this, Toby? Naruto heard and looked over to see a blonde-haired man looking at him in disgust. Relax, Deidara. Toby responded in that high-pitched voice he did to Naruto earlier. I've decided to recruit him and bring him along, he said cheerfully. He's the Jinchuriki, Itachi said as he observed Naruto. That's Uzumaki Naruto from the Leaf Village. You know him? Deidara questioned. Yeah, he was quite the brat when we started off with introductions, Itachi said with that stoic face that Sasuke would have. You attacked Kakashi-sensei and then appeared in my hotel room and tried to take me and almost killed Sasuke Dash. Toby put his finger over Naruto's mouth, getting him to stop talking. Big mouth this one, eh? Deidara smirked. HN. Itachi responded, just like his damn brother. Naruto thought. Naruto wanted to desperately fight Itachi, but after the incident at the hotel, when Sasuke tried to fight, he stood away. Naruto then noticed a paper shushin appear next to him. There stood a woman with short purple hair with no expression on her face as she looked down on the blonde. The Leaf Village, huh? The same village where Princess Tsunade became the 5th Hokage. She asked, and Naruto started to get worried a bit when he saw someone else approach. Yes, Conan, that's the village hidden in the leaves, the man said. Naruto stared at the man and saw that he had orange hair. His eyes were weird looking too. They were both purple with black rings, and he had so many piercings in his nose and ears which made Naruto creeped out a bit. Toby, Zetsu, the man started. You both brought him here. Do you both truly trust in this boy? Yep, without a doubt, Mr. Pain, Toby annoyingly responded. Same for me, Pain, Zetsu said, and Naruto looked back at the man whose name is Pain. Pain looked down at the boy, who seems to be intimidated by his appearance. Uzumaki Naruto, right? Naruto said nervously. Pain then held out his hand to the blonde, and Naruto slowly and nervously shook his hand. Welcome to the Akatsuki. I trust you won't be a problem to us, right? All right. Pain then lowered his hand as he and Conan turned away. Toby, I'll leave you in charge of training the boy. Yes, sir. You can count on me, Toby said, giving him the thumbs up. Pain and Conan left the cave and began walking back to their village. Pain, can we really trust him? Conan asked, furrowing her eyebrows. Give it a few years, he responded. I got something planned for that boy. Flashback in. Naruto had finally made it to the hideout. It was in the desert, which sucked because of how hot it was, so he tried his hardest to not collapse. Naruto, not even worried about traps, then entered in. He passed by a few rooms before he was at what seemed like the main part of the hideout considering how big the area. He sent someone with the help of the Kyuubi and put his hand on the handle of his sword. Orochimaru, one of 3 legendary Sannin. I've come for Dash. Naruto then looked to see a sword charging at him, and it quickly came in contact with his sword as well. Naruto then looked to see a head in front of him with a sword coming out its mouth and knew from that moment who it was. I didn't come here to fight, Naruto said. Orochimaru's head then retreated as it went back to his body, which made Naruto cringe a bit. He watched as the snake Sannin stepped out the shadows and moved on into the light. He looked at who he doesn't know is Naruto with a determined face. Naruto decided to take a risk, and he undid the hair color change jutsu, and Orochimaru watched it turn blonde. He then put his sword back before taking off his mask and moving it to the side of his face, and Orochimaru looked somewhat surprised yet smiled freakishly. Naruto, he said in disbelief. Been hearing a lot of news of people saying you died. And last time I saw you, you attacked the Hidden Leaf unexpectedly and killed the 3rd Hokage, Naruto said as he stepped forward as him and Orochimaru were now face to face. I guess we're both full of surprises. Orochimaru smirked as he turned away. You said you didn't come here to fight. So why are you here? He asked. I want you to help me find Deidara from the Akatsuki. Orochimaru turned to him. Akatsuki? What for? To kill him and the Akatsuki. Kill the Akatsuki? You must be joking. Orochimaru chuckled, his laughs echoing throughout the cave, and Naruto stood there not even smiling. He had more of a pissed-off expression on his face. Orochimaru's laugh went away as he looked at Naruto serious. You're serious, he said. You heard about the Akatsuki recruiting another member, right? Naruto asked. Yes. I suspect that it was you who joined them? Correct. Orochimaru looked at him, smiling. So you're telling me that you're the one who joined the Akatsuki after bringing back Sasuke, and now you want to turn your back on them? I didn't turn my back on them. Those bastards turned their backs on me, Naruto responded. They left me for dead about 2 months ago. Now I'm finally making my move to kill them all. I see, Orochimaru said as he turned away. And how do I know you're not lying and they're outside waiting to kill me? You don't have to trust me, Orochimaru, Naruto said. You don't even have to listen to a word I say. But me and you both know the Leaf are going to want their revenge after the outrage you've caused. And seeing how Tsunade is the new Hokage, I don't expect them to go easy. Even if you're an old comrade of hers in Jiraiya. And how do you know that they won't find out you're alive? After all, Naruto, you faked your death to leave the people who treated you horribly only to join the people who abandoned you. Orochimaru said, so I'm guessing you want to kill the Akatsuki for what? Help the Leaf village out. Not even. I'm exterminating both the Akatsuki and the Leaf. So are you going to at least give me some hint on how I can find Deidara? What about your old comrades? Sasuke, that girl Sakura, and your sensei, Kakashi Dash. Keep their names out your mouth. Now tell me where the hell I can find the Akatsuki members before I kill you and do it myself. Naruto shouted and his Sharingan activated. Surprising Orochimaru that the blonde had gotten hold of the eyes, he felt that Naruto was actually being serious. Normally, after my plan of recruiting Sasuke was ruined, I would have killed you long ago if I had known you were still alive. I can do it now too, Orochimaru responded. But we both don't care much for the Akatsuki and even want them to get what's coming. So I guess I'll help you. Orochimaru began walking towards the entrance to the cave as Naruto deactivated his Sharingan and followed. He was wondering where Kabuto could be. Why would you need my help in finding them when you've been with them for 4 years now? Orochimaru asked, the man with the Rinnegan, paying he trusted Toby in taking care of me. Naruto responded, wherever Toby went, I would go too. But we barely went anywhere, so I stayed in the cave with him for a long time. They both reached the entrance as the wind blew and sand would blow along with it. Orochimaru looked over the land and simply admired it. Akatsuki like to always keep moving. After all, they're after Jinchuriki now, so they'll keep moving until they get to the nearest Jinchuriki and take them. Orochimaru says, from what I've heard, they've already gotten the One-Tails and recently had captured the Two-Tails. Naruto said as he stood behind the snake Sannin. So that leave 4-tailed beasts, including the 9-tails which is inside you. Orochimaru says, apparently they don't want the 9-tails, because Kisame sure as hell wouldn't have wanted to kill me. Naruto said, strange indeed, Naruto, but the Akatsuki will most likely be going after more tailed beasts. They're probably looking for another one as we speak. Therefore, if you want to find the Akatsuki, I suggest searching around either Mount Mayaboku or the Hidden Sand Village. Orochimaru said, that's how I can find Deidara? It's how you can find any Akatsuki member, but if I were you, I would take one at a time. Orochimaru suggested, don't want them to find out you're alive, right? Make them think it's the Leaf's doing. Naruto nodded but still felt Orochimaru is still untrustworthy. How do I know you're not lying? For all I know, you could be leading me into a death trap. He said, now look who's not very trusting. Oh, well, have it your way. Either you finish the Akatsuki or the Leaf does it for you. Orochimaru said as he walked back into the cave. And remember this. Orochimaru said, if a ninja has the guts to abandon his own people, then he has no problem killing them, showing no remorse. I didn't leave the Akatsuki. Naruto responded, I'm not talking about the Akatsuki, brat. Orochimaru said before he disappeared into the shadows. Naruto took his words into thought. Sure, he left the Leaf, but would he really want to kill Sasuke and the others like he said would? Having second thoughts, Naruto? QB asked, not even, let's head out. If Deidara is at any of the Akatsuki hideouts, then I'll just fight whoever is there. You got chakra built up, right? Yeah, now get going before it's too late. Naruto jumped out of the cave and landed on his feet before moving his mask back onto his face as he headed to the hideout in the Hidden Sand Village. Looks like you're making even better progress than before, Kakashi said as he gave Sasuke bottled water. Seems like it was the right decision to teach you the Chidori and the many variations that came with it. Sasuke drank half the water bottle as him, and Kakashi walked away from the training grounds. How has Sakura been holding up? Kakashi asked. Dunno, haven't seen her in 2 days. Sasuke responded blankly. Well, with the Akatsuki starting to get in our way again, I wouldn't be surprised if she was continuing her training with Tsunade-sama. HN. Kakashi continued reading his book again as they walked through the village. Still read that boring book? Things never change with you. Sasuke said, "Little do you know that these books actually help out when trying to make the woman you love yours." Kakashi responded as he continued to read the book. "So why are you still single?" Sasuke asked, and that made Kakashi stop in his tracks and sweat drop as he nervously chuckled. "Well, you see, never mind. For all I know, it could get embarrassing from here," Sasuke said as he walked away. "And you want to talk Uchiha? Ever since the academy days, you had quite the girly fanbase." Kakashi pointed out, "I'm surprised you haven't dated any of them." Sasuke smelling delicious food, then looked over at the Ichiraku ramen stand. He remembered when Naruto would always go there pretty much every day. Sasuke had eaten there a few times, but couldn't really get into it like his hyperactive friend used to. But he had to admit, he missed those moments dearly. "Kakashi-sensei, I need to talk to you about something," he said, and they both walked inside Ichiraku ramen. "Welcome," they heard a woman say, and Kakashi waved. "I am. Nice to see you're still in high spirits. Me and Sasuke would like the same from before," Kakashi said. Sasuke heard a soft, angelic voice and looked over to Hinata sitting there with a bowl of ramen in front of her. How was tea training?" She stuttered. After years of sometimes talking to Hinata, at this point, her stuttering didn't bother Sasuke as much as it did before. "Good. And yours?" he asked. It was good. I feel like I'm making even more better progress than before," she responded, looking down. Sasuke wondered why the Hyuga was so shy at times, not just around him but around everyone. You'd think after spending 4 years around your comrades, you'd at least build up some confidence. He couldn't help but slightly break a smile at her about it. "Sasuke, you said you wanted to talk about something?" he heard Kakashi say. "Right," Sasuke said as he took a seat next to Hinata. "I want to recruit Orochimaru," he said, and earned a soft and quiet gasp from Hinata, and Kakashi's visible right eye almost widened. "Orochimaru, you say? I don't know how to explain this any better, but I don't think that would work out just right," Kakashi said. "Sasuke can why? You saw what he did to village, eh? And he even killed the T3rd Hokage." Hinata said, "That's true. I expected you both to not agree on what I said, so I'll explain it differently," Sasuke said as Ayam put their bowls in front of them. "Itadakamasu," Kakashi said as he grabbed chopsticks, and Sasuke grabbed two and handed the other to Hinata. "Orochimaru cannot be forgiven for his crimes. I won't argue otherwise. But things aren't looking good for both the sand and the leaf," Sasuke said as he took a bit out the ramen. But he was also one of Konoha's legendary Sannin alongside Jiraiya and Tsunade. And seeing how he survived the Second Shinobi War alongside them, he could prove helpful to the village. "So you expect everyone in the village to forget what he did if he were to say yes?" Kakashi asked. "Of course not," Sasuke responded. Tsunade-sama wouldn't agree to this Sasuke-kun," Hinata said. "It's not about agreeing with me, Hinata. It's about understanding," Sasuke said as he took another bite of the ramen. "Before Naruto's passing, he taught me something. He taught me that the only way we can get through this is if we work together and stand with one another against our enemies." Sasuke looked out the corner of his eye and could see Hinata frowning. "I was willing to fall into darkness and run away from the people who cared about me truly. But when Naruto brought me back, I finally realized no matter what kind of trouble people caused, everyone can deserve a second chance in the shinobi world," he said. Kakashi looked at his student in surprise. He has certainly changed over the years. Hinata admired the way Sasuke viewed things in the world and started to get an understanding of what he's trying to say. The leaf and the sand no longer have tailed beasts. The Akatsuki will not hesitate to bring hell to the village. We'll need as much help as we can get. Even if it's just one person, having someone to help fight with you is better than having no one to fight with you, Sasuke said as he finished his ramen. Kakashi smiled behind his mask as he looked down at his student, and Hinata slightly blushed before standing next to Sasuke. "Sasuke-kun, I will stand by your side when we explain this to Tsunade-sama," Hinata said, and Sasuke gave her a warm smile and nodded. "Well, you two, go on ahead, it's my treat here," Kakashi said as he looked at the 3 bowls, and both Hinata and Sasuke walked out. "Quite surprised, Kakashi," Ayam said. "I'm more surprised at the fact that he's spoken that long since I first met the kid," Kakashi said as he took out his money. "Naruto, It's like your legacy lives on through Sasuke. Naruto's POV. Naruto had been walking for what seemed like forever, but was only 20 minutes trying to find Akatsuki hideout. He walked, and sometimes talked to the Kyuubi before he saw two figures in the distance. Both had black cloaks with red clouds. Akatsuki, I finally found them, he whispered as he masked his chakra and got a closer inspection. He noticed one of them had an orange swirly mask and the other had yellow hair with mouths on his palms. Toby and Deidara. Today must be my lucky day, Naruto whispered to himself as he took out his sword, but then saw a swirling vortex and Toby had disappeared, leaving Deidara. The man sighed in annoyance. That bastard Toby always gives me a hard time. He grumbled. It's been quite a while now, hasn't it, Deidara? Deidara was alerted and quickly turned and threw a few clay bombs. Katsu! He shouted as they exploded in the direction Naruto was standing. Smoke appeared and took some time to clear out before Deidara grinned when no one was standing there. Hey, easy. Not quite. He heard the voice say again, and he looked over to see a masked man, who he doesn't know is Naruto, rushing towards him and was kicked in the gut, which made him move some feet away from Naruto. Naruto popped his neck in his fists as he held his sword in his right hand and stared down at Deidara. I think it's time me and you had a few words, Deidara. Team, who the hell are you? Deidara yelled as he got back up from the kick. I'm the man who will decide your fate. I think death fits your description very well, Naruto said. Deidara got up and stared down at the masked man, trying to get every detail of him for when he gets back to Toby and the rest. It's a big stare down between the two before Deidara reached inside the pouches with his two hands, which made Naruto act quick as he rushed him with his sword. He aimed for his arm, considering that's the only thing he needs to make clay bombs, but misses when Deidara had jumped in the air and kicked Naruto into the ground. He took out his hands and his palms spit out a clay bomb, both hands having 3, which he threw down at Naruto. He shouted as the bombs went off, causing the ground to shake as he landed on top of the Akatsuki hideout. Deidara looks both left and right, but sees no one around him, but when the smoke cleared out, he saw Naruto's body on the floor with the sword next to him. All talk, but in the end weak. Deidara said, you drop your guard way too easily. A voice said behind him. Deidara's eyes widened before he felt his back get kicked again, and he gets sent down towards the hard ground again. Bombs are too useless. Either that, or you're just a dumb user when it comes to them, Naruto says as he drops down to the ground and picks up his sword. Baka, Deidara responded, getting up again. Art is an explosion. Perhaps you would like to see what I mean by that. Deidara then observed Naruto again and noticed the orange handle on his sword. Is that? No. Kisame killed him, and we hadn't heard any news about him ever since. Naruto smirked behind his mask, and he activated his Sharingan. Both glowed in the darkness of his eye holes, which almost surprised Deidara. I've seen better art. Yours is more of a ripoff, he said, and began rushing towards Deidara. Can't use Rasengan. That'll give away my identity easily, considering the only ones who can use it is me and Jiraiya, Naruto thought. Deidara took his hands out again, and his palms spit out a puddle of clay, which grossed out Naruto completely. Naruto stopped in his tracks because, despite throughout his 4 years in the Akatsuki, he had never seen Deidara do this before, so he stayed really cautious. The clay then began rising up as if it were transforming into something. Naruto watched as it created weird-looking things that didn't even look human at all. The two clay creatures began charging at Naruto. The hell? How stupid and ridiculous, Naruto said as he tried to slash his sword through one of them, but it didn't go through all the way. The sword got stuck, which made Naruto back off, and he had no choice but to use taijutsu for now, which turned out to be okay with the help of the Sharingan. He dodged all the attacks, while also trying to fight one off while kicking away the other one in the midst of trying to get his sword back. Gonna need a different approach, kid. Think I don't know that? Naruto ducked underneath one of the clay's punch and did a hand sign. Two clones appeared by him and helped fight the two of them, and Naruto tried to observe Deidara. He noticed the white strip coming out of his palms. He must be controlling them. It's like I'm fighting Sasori. Only Deidara is more annoying. Naruto then found the opening to get his sword back and took it out before using a bit of the Kyuubi's chakra to slash right through. One down, Naruto used a bit more of the Kyuubi's chakra in order to slash through the other clay model. It fell to the ground as Naruto turned back around and the shadow clones went away. Don't think it stops here, Deidara yelled, and Naruto noticed more clay models charged at him. Such a damn annoyance. Naruto fought them off as well, but it seemed like it never stopped as more and more kept charging at him. He had no problem that much, thanks to the Sharingan and Kyuubi's chakra, but this was still very tiring to him. Because he was too busy fighting, he didn't even notice some little clay animals crawling on the ground. Gah! Deidara shouted, and Naruto jumped as they all exploded beneath him. Deidara stayed alert just in case and looked all around him for the masked man, but couldn't find him anywhere. He waited a few more seconds before he sensed a strong chakra and saw an orange glow in the smoke as it dispersed. There he saw the masked man with his mask broken in half, so that all Deidara could see was a few whisker marks and blonde hair. "Thanks, Kyuubi," Naruto said, and the Nine Tails just nodded in his mind as Naruto's eyebrows furrowed, and he realized his identity had been revealed, and he deactivated his Sharingan. "Now I'm pissed," he grumbled. "Uzumaki Naruto!" Deidara shouted as he dug his hands in his pouches again. "Kisame was ordered to kill you. So how the hell am I seeing you right now?" Turns out Kisame should have double-checked. Naruto responded as he stepped forward again. "Use my power kit." "No, I'm gonna kill him myself. I don't need your help as of right now. Sit back and sleep while I handle things here." That's show-off. Deidara's hands then spat out more clay, and he threw it on the ground, and Naruto saw a bird-like clay model that flew into the sky with Deidara riding it. "Always loved sticking to the high ground," Naruto said. "Kyuubi, change of plans?" "Yeah. So now you want my help?" "The bastard is used to staying off the ground. Either you help me right now, or make this harder than it needs to be. Don't worry about it." Deidara looked down and noticed Naruto's entire body had red gas and bubbles forming around him. "What the hell is this now?" Naruto puts away his sword before the Kyuubi had finished sharing his chakra with him. "Kyuubi, get me up there," Naruto told him as he running below Deidara before jumping extremely high that he was now above him. "Impossible." Naruto's eyes then flared red as he began charging at Deidara and punched him in the gut, almost knocking the man of the clay bird model. Before Deidara can even move, Naruto had already appeared in front of him. "He's fast." Naruto then punched him again before kicking him off the clay model. They both began falling down as Naruto threw a few more violent punches and kicks here and there. Deidara began coughing some blood, but that didn't stop Naruto from punching him more and more harder than before. Because of all these punches, Naruto's fists were stained with some blood, but still continued to show no mercy on his opponent. Finally, Naruto had slammed Deidara into the hard ground and towered over him. Deidara was at this point fearing for his life as he tried to crawl away, but Naruto picked him up by the collar. "I'll show you art," Naruto said as he tossed Deidara in air and took out his sword and cut off his left arm before he kicked him away that he probably shattered a rib. Deidara almost screamed in pain, but was cut off when he coughed up more blood as he tried to crawl away again while digging his right hand in his pocket again. He looked up and saw Naruto slowly approaching him with a sinister smile on his face, his red eyes staring deep into Deidara's blue eyes. Naruto threw a kunai at Deidara, but the slowly dying man dodged it and continued to crawl away as fast as he could. Naruto felt that this is now over, and he began making a Rasengan as he slowly approached Deidara. Naruto towered over him, the Rasengan in his palm. "Have fun in the next life, Deidara." Deidara's palm then spit out more clay, which caught Naruto off guard. Deidara kicked Naruto off of him and threw the clay onto the blonde. "Kage Bunshin Dash." Ka! The explosions went off where Naruto was at. It was like the explosions never ended as more explosions went off for more than 20 seconds. Deidara continued to crawl away to get some distance from the explosion as if started to stop. A lot of smoke filled the air as Deidara coughed from the gray smoke filling his lungs. He smirked and felt as if he had won against his former comrade. "Baka, I already told you," he said, breathing heavily. "Art isn't explosion?" Deidara's eyes widened as he looked over to where he heard the voice and saw the blonde he thought he had killed, standing there as the Kyuubi's chakra went away. "Team, why you just won't?" Naruto then walked over to Deidara, in which he tried to crawl again. He saw a kunai on the ground and felt as if right now that could be his only defense. Naruto walked over to Deidara, easily catching up to him. Deidara was denying death as he crawled even more to the kunai that laid on the ground. Deidara held out his hand to try and grab the kunai, but Naruto grabbed it before he could and just stared at Deidara as his hand fell onto the desert ground. The man spit blood onto Naruto's face in anger. Naruto smiled as he wiped off the blood and took a deep breath before slamming the blade of the kunai into Deidara's hand. You know, Deidara, I'm impressed. For an explosion-loving psychopath like yourself, you actually put up a good fight. Screw you. Deidara spat out. Naruto stood up and took out his sword again before stabbing Deidara in his hand again, which made the man scream from the pain, his screams echoing. I basically give you a compliment, and that's how you respond? Naruto chuckled. Team, you act as if the rest of the Akatsuki wanted this. All of this was Pain and Toby. You think we should have backed down from Pain? Either that, or you all could have made sure I was dead. Naruto responded as he took the sword out his hand and brought it down to one of Deidara's leg. Deidara winced in pain as more blood came out his mouth. Why? You need to think this through, Brad. You think you can just join the Leaf and start killing us off? Naruto kicked Deidara in his shattered ribs as he leaned down. I didn't join the Leaf. I'm doing this by myself. I don't give a damn about the Leaf or their Hokage. Naruto took out the sword again and put it on his back, and Deidara laughed at him. Why, you think you can kill the Akatsuki? Why, you're even more of a dumbass than I thought. Naruto then began making another Rasengan, the blue orb spinning in his hand. I'll keep my word, Deidara. I will kill the Akatsuki. If anyone gets in my way, I'll kill them too. Naruto said, think just because you kill us one by one it will solve everything. Deidara spat out. No, but it will sure help get this burden off my back. Naruto responded as he finished making his Rasengan. He smirks as he looked at the defenseless Deidara. He looks at his pissed-off face and couldn't help but chuckle a bit. Tell Sasori the Akatsuki miss him dearly. Fuck you. Naruto then brought down the Rasengan and shoved it right into Deidara's chest. He watched as his torso had completely ripped away before it went right through his body, blood spattering on his face and clothes. He backed away and looked at the lifeless Deidara and wiped his bloodied hands on his pants. He stood there breathing heavily before walking away from the scene. What Naruto was unsure of was that Zetsu was watching the whole thing unfold, and he appeared next to Deidara's lifeless corpse. Seems like Naruto has risen from the dead once more. Black Zetsu said, first Sasori, and now Deidara, shame? I was hoping to see Deidara develop more. White Zetsu responded, the cocky bastard had it coming, if you say so, but we must inform the rest about this. By tomorrow, Zetsu disappeared into the sand ground, and Naruto walked far away, his sinister smile never leaving his face. So, who's next? Sakura. I'm sure you're aware that the Two Tails Jinchuriki was captured. Hi, Tsunade-sama. Sakura responded. It had been a day since Naruto had killed off Deidara, but the people at the Leaf don't know it. Not yet, at least. From what I'm hearing, there are now 4-tailed beasts left, 2 of them involving the 8 tails and the 9 tails. Tsunade said, do you want us to protect the Jinchuriki from the Akatsuki? No, Sakura. I'm sure the Jinchuriki can pull their own weight. Besides, you're one of the best medical ninjas here in the Leaf, and I can't send you or Shizen on such dangerous missions. Tsunade said as she got up and looked down over the village she must protect. Tsunade-sama, yesterday I saw Hinata and Sasuke leave your office and they didn't look too happy. What happened? Sakura asked in curiosity. Sasuke and Hinata had talked to Tsunade yesterday about wanting to recruit Orochimaru, but she quickly denied it. She thought that it was too late for her former Snake Sannin comrade, and that there was nothing else they could do to bring him back. They want to recruit Orochimaru to help us out, she said, biting her lip. Orochimaru? But why? Hell if I know. They said he might be of use when it comes to helping us fight the Akatsuki, but after the thing I heard he did to the village to the 3rd Hokage, I can't allow it, Tsunade said. Sakura joined her in looking down over the village. She saw Sasuke at the training ground again. He'd train almost every day there. The two had barely talked to each other after Sasuke had rejected the feeling she had for him, but she could understand just a little bit. After losing Naruto, carrying the burden his older brother Itachi had given him, and now having to fight against the Akatsuki, she soon began to understand why he would act the way he is now. We still have yet to get more information on the Akatsuki member that Shizen said was here, Tsunade said, changing the subject. She said it was a masked man, right? Sakura asked, and that the man had blue eyes, but now that he has the Sharingan, they're black now. Seems that way. I don't know why she would listen to an enemy when transplanting those eyes. Tsunade grumbled. She was just caring for you, Tsunade-sama. But I am Hokage. If it comes down to your life or my life, I would ask that they take mine and spare yours. Sakura's green innocent eyes met Tsunade's light golden amber eyes before someone came busting into the office. So they heard a woman say, "It was Shizen." Shizen, no need to shout. "What's the prob dash? Tsunade-sama. One of the Akatsuki members has been killed," Shizen said, and Sakura's eyes widened. "That's the thing, Tsunade, we don't know who." Shizen responded. "Could it have been someone here?" Sakura asked. "No, I barely sent anyone out except Shikamaru, Asuma, and a few other jonin, but not too far." Tsunade responded. She took out the bingo book and placed it on the desk and opened it up. "Who was the Akatsuki member? I've been hearing that it was a guy with long yellow hair. He used to be from the Hidden Rock Village. And his hands had teeth." Sakura spoke up this time. "I think I know who you're talking about," she said as she took the bingo book from Tsunade and began flipping pages. She finally found the man who fit the description and was quite surprised when she saw his face and name. "I figured, Deidara," she said as she handed it back to Tsunade. "You've seen him?" Shizen asked. "Hi, it was during Team 7's battle when we were trying to retrieve Gaara. Sasuke and Kakashi-sensei had a rough time fighting him, so he got away," she said as she looked back down at the book. "To think he'd be killed just like that. Who is responsible for this, Shizen?" Tsunade questioned. "People have said that earlier throughout the day, they saw someone in a mask. He had a sword on his back and was wearing a cloak of some sort," Shizen said before realization hit her. "That's the person who was here, Tsunade-sama." Tsunade bit her lip as she slammed her hand on the desk. "I'm lost now, Shizen. You said that Masked Man was a part of the Akatsuki, so why is he starting to kill them off now? WL?" Shizen stuttered, and both Sakura and Tsunade knew she was about to say something, but held it back. "Shizen, what's wrong?" Sakura asked, and Shizen looked more than scared. "I'm so sorry I didn't tell you about this sooner, Tsunade-sama, but that masked man was reported dead about 2 months ago." She spat out, and Tsunade grew more furious that a vein appeared on her forehead. "And I'm just now hearing about this Shizen?" Shizen stood there frightened, and so did Sakura. Both knew that if you were to infuriate Tsunade, you're basically digging your own grave. The only person who could really get away with talking back to her was Naruto. Tsunade threw the bingo book at her. "Cross out the dead Akatsuki member and spread the word to Kakashi and all the other teams in ANBU about this. We must stay alert. Hi. Now Shizen." And just like that, Shizen rushed out the door, not even bothering to close it, and Sakura looked at Tsunade, who was slowly starting to calm down. She sat in the chair, tapping her fingers against the desk. "So, all of a sudden people just rise from the dead?" She spoke to herself. "Maybe you should relax a bit, Tsunade. I can't tell whether I should be angry or thankful. The masked man killed an Akatsuki member, which I guess helps us out, but..." Tsunade then sighed as she tried to focus and calm down. "Sakura, talk to Sasuke about the situation. That boy is starting to get stronger, so we'll need him to stay alert." "Hi," Sakura said as she walked out the room, and Tsunade has a headache from all the yelling. Kisame's POV. Kisame walked through the cave to meet up with his partner Itachi. They had to go investigate throughout the leaf and afterwards report everything to either Pain or Toby. "Heard from Deidara yet?" Kisame asked. "I have no worries about him. Let him do what he thinks is best for the Akatsuki." Itachi asked. "When we stop by the leaf, are you going to confront your brother?" Kisame asked. "Perhaps he would love a little family reunion with Dash." "My brother does not concern you, Kisame. Keep his name out your Dash. You come to me with something like this, Zetsu, you better be damn sure about it." They both heard Toby yell from outside. Kisame and Itachi both looked at each other in slight confusion, then stepped out of the cave and saw Zetsu in front of Toby. "I don't really know what we could or should do, Toby," Zetsu said. "Well, you better figure out a damn plan for all this. I already got enough shit to deal with, and I receive this sort of news." Toby yells. He bickers even more before Zetsu leaves, leaving an angered Toby who punches the tree. "Fucking shit, Toby. What seems to be the problem?" Kisame grinned at his comrade's outrage, but that grin went away when they saw the Sharingan appear in the right eye hole. Whatever Zetsu told him, Itachi knew that it was some very bad news that he would not want to hear. Naruto Uzumaki is still alive. Kisame's POV. "You idiot. You said he was dead." "Dead?" Toby yelled at Kisame. "Relax. I don't know how he survived. I kicked the brat off the damn cliff, and he fell down. His bones should have been shattered to the point he died." Kisame yelled back. Itachi watched the two in interest but with a stoic expression on his face. He noticed Tobi's hands were balled up. Kisame looked at the masked man in anger as he kept a tight grip on his blade. "I mean, come on, Tobi. You sent me there, and I gave him a few cuts here and there before kicking him off, then I checked Dash." Tobi then slammed Kisame against the cement wall, pressing his arm against his neck roughly. "Once. You only checked once to see if he was dead," Tobi yelled behind the mask. "Now, thanks to you, Deidara is dead. Do you know what this means?" Kisame stayed quiet as he tried to move Tobi's arm but struggled. "Naruto is going to be wanting revenge, and he won't stop until every single one of us is dead. Get your arm off, Dash." Meaning if we're dead, then the plan would have been all for nothing, Tobi said as he added more pressure against Kisame's neck. "In case you didn't know, Tobi, you're the one who sent me to kill him. You could have sent Itachi or anyone else." Kisame argued. "I sent you because you said you'd get the job done, and now you fucked up, Kisame," Tobi said as he released his grip on Kisame's throat. "That brat is out for blood now." Kisame held his throat, rubbing it a few times before Tobi stepped back. "But I'll give you another chance, Kisame. When you get the chance, find that little shit and kill him without hesitation. Do I make myself clear?" Kisame stayed quiet before going in for a punch on Tobi, but it went right through the masked man, causing him to almost fall. Kisame tried to punch him again, but Itachi put his arm out and stopped him as Tobi slowly turned around with annoyance and hatred in his eyes. "Do I make myself clear?" Tobi asked, and Kisame scoffed. "Yeah, kill the brat and that's it. No need to say it again," Kisame said as he walked out the cave, leaving an angered Tobi and a stoic Itachi. Naruto's POV. About a day has passed since Naruto had his battle with Deidara. The Kyuubi was finished on healing his burn marks from all the explosions. Naruto was tired and thirsty. He needed water more than anything. Luckily, his prayers were answered when he saw a hot spring nearby and heard people conversing, so he just walked over there instead of running due to his energy. Before he walked inside, he did a jutsu to change his hair color again, so no one here can tie him Naruto Uzumaki, the boy who died when he felt like he failed the village even after bringing back Sasuke. It was going to be tough though, because of the whiskers on his cheeks, but then again he hoped someone just thinks it's marker or something. He saw a water fountain and immediately ran over to it. Almost tripping, he kept his balance when he grabbed onto the fountain and began drinking fast. After a few minutes, he felt fully hydrated and backed away from the water fountain and wiped his mouth. He then stepped into the men's building, which was thankfully empty, so he grabbed a towel and quickly changed out of his clothes. He wrapped the towel around him and looked in the mirror, noticing a few burn marks that the Kyuubi hasn't healed yet. He had few scars due to his battle with Kisame and had gotten quite the build over the past years. "Told you, kid. Staying away from ramen helped you become built like you are now. No need to point it out, Databeo." Naruto stepped out the building and noticed two girls who looked about his age were looking at him, blushing as they admired his body and how his muscles almost rippling with every step. Naruto shrugged it off and got inside the water and felt relief overflow him. He was alone in the pool and wanted to keep it that way. All he could hear were girls on the other side, giggling and conversing as he sat there letting the water consume his body. "Hey Kit, HM, got quite the fans over there. Why don't you introduce yourself?" "No way, I got more important things to deal with." Kurama chuckled a bit as Naruto heard the girls continue their conversations, and he shrugged it off. "Hey Kit, remember that one pink-haired chick from the Leaf? What's her name again?" "Sakura. And what about her?" Naruto sighed. "How do you think she's doing?" "I don't know, and I really don't care about her. Hell, she's probably spitting on my fake grave." "Yeah, how ironic for you to say you don't care about her. What are you talking about? Every time you'd make it home, it would always be Sakura this or Sakura that. Basically what I'm saying is you were so obsessed with that chick that I had to spend the next 2 hours or so hearing you go on and on about how much you love her." "Yeah, well, that's in the past. That was the old Naruto Uzumaki. Still annoying to this day how you would go on and on about her, even though she was chasing after that brat Sasuke Uchiha. Like I said, that was in the past. Speaking of Uchiha, remember when Sasuke said he had a mission to kill Itachi? Yeah, you should be the one to kill Itachi, and make sure you have my help when doing so. Me and Uchiha have bad history, ever since Madara." "Huh? Madara. It was way long ago before you were born, Kit. That bastard basically controlled me with his Sharingan. Sounds like you had a rough life, QB. And I meant to ask you, what is your true name? I figured if you know my name, then I should know yours. Naruto put his head in the water to wash his face bit before QB responded. Kurama. Kurama? That's what I said, right? All right then. Kurama. A couple of more minutes passed by before Naruto decided to get out of the pool, ignoring the same two girls he saw earlier as he head back inside to change into his clothes before he heard a conversation outside. Hey, did you hear? You heard a woman outside say. Hear about what? The other woman responded. One of the Leaf's Jonin shinobi was killed in a battle. Naruto rose an eyebrow as he heard the conversation. Leaf Jonin? Shikamaru? Kakashi? No way. Who's responsible? Apparently, they've been saying two members of a group known as the Akatsuki were responsible. Naruto's eyes almost widened, and he put his sword around his body again and finished putting on his shinobi sandals. They said that some man with a long red weapon of some sort was beheaded but was still alive, as if he couldn't die, and his teammate didn't really do anything. Naruto then smirked and knew right away who they were talking about, and he headed outside. Kurama. I think we found ourselves a new target. A 2-for-1 as a matter of fact. And who do you suspect the dead Jonin is? Don't know and don't care. All that matters is Kakuzu and Haiden. And just like that, Naruto left the hot spring and jumped from tree to tree and headed towards the leaf to find out where the battle could have taken place. Sasuke's POV. Akatsuki member killed? Hi, it's the same person you and Kakashi-sensei were fighting when we retrieved Gaara. Sakura responded. Any idea who the perpetrator could have been? Sasuke asked. Shizune said that people have seen a man in a mask heading the direction where they found the body. They said he had a sword on his back, and Tsunade hasn't said anything about it yet? Sasuke asked. She wanted me to tell you while she tells the rest about the situation. Sakura said. The both of them were sitting on the grass, in front of the grave of their beloved friend, Naruto. Things have gotten pretty shitty ever since he left this earth. Sasuke said as he read Naruto's carved name on the tombstone. They have. Sakura answered quietly as she also stared at the carved name. Do you ever think about how things would have been if he were still here? Every day. Sasuke responded. Ever since Naruto died, Sasuke and Sakura both have been living in guilt about their last moments with him. Sasuke always felt guilty about how the last time he saw him, he tried to not only abandon Naruto, but also kill him, when all he tried to do was help him and save him from falling into complete darkness. Sakura felt even more guilt every day because of how she always pushed him around and treated him roughly in the academy and when they were on missions. But the one that hurt her the most was when she punched Naruto when he brought back Sasuke, and the two were on the verge of death. To this day, they'd both give anything back to have their friend back. Sasuke-kun. Sakura-san. They both heard a soft, angelic voice call out. They turned and see Hinata running towards them, and when she got there, she looked as if she was about to cry. Whoa! Hinata, are you alright? What happened? Sakura asked concerned, and Sasuke looked at her in confusion. Hey, Asuma-sensei. She stuttered. She looked as if she was having trouble trying to say her next words. Hey, Asuma-sensei. H has been killed. She finally said. Sakura's eyes widened. Was it Akatsuki? She asked. I'm afraid so. Hinata responded. Sasuke closed his eyes. He may not look it right now, but his blood was boiling right now. He couldn't stand that they lost another to the Akatsuki. First Chiyo, now Asuma. He balled up his fists in anger. Shikama, Choji, the pain you all must be feeling. He thought as he opened his eyes. He walked away and off to where Shikamaru is, and if he can't find him, then Tsunade. Naruto's POV. Naruto had finally found where Kakuzu and Haiden had their battle with the leaf. There was blood, probably both Haiden and the Jonin that died here. There were footprints, and the building here was sorta destroyed. Naruto knew that this fight wasn't an easy one. Naruto then noticed a bloody ritual-like thing on the dirt, and sighed as he shook his head and immediately knew who made this. You seem to be getting something, kid. No, all I know is that a Jonin died. But this ritual, this is definitely Haiden's work. He's the only one in the Akatsuki who would go on about his Jashin sacrifice every time he'd kill someone. Naruto looked around so see if he could have any sort of trace of finding them, but nothing so far. He searched and searched all around, but couldn't really find anything about where they could have gone. So far, all he knows is that Haiden and Kakuzu were for sure here. Kurama, get some rest. I don't know if they've been warned about me being alive or not, but something tells me that finding them will be difficult. Good enough for me. Should we check out Konoha during our spare time? No. I can't stand another second being that village. Wouldn't you want to know about Sasuke's abilities, though? As of right now, the team is the least of my worries. I'll probably go to the village Erosen took me when I saw Bachan. Maybe stay at a hotel while I'm at it. Naruto took one last look around before walking away from where the battle happened and headed into the direction of the village. Sasuke's POV. Sasuke, you're not going. Tsunade ordered as Sasuke was walking toward the gates of Konoha. It's not your decision to make Hokage-sama. Sasuke responded, and he felt a hand rest on his shoulder. I get you're upset, Sasuke. Believe me, I am too, but dash. Like I said, this isn't your decision. It's mine only. Sasuke interrupts her. Sasuke, going to recruit Orochimaru alone is dangerous, and you know it. Tsunade argued. It's the best chance we got. Sasuke raised his voice. I don't care what you think or say. I'm going. Tsunade was getting angry with the Uchiha. At this point, Sasuke didn't care if she's Hokage. She needed to understand what he's saying. You damn brat. As my job of being Hokage, I need to protect everyone here. You going out there to recruit an enemy is stupid and pointless. Protect everyone? Sasuke scoffed. You sent 3 Jonins and an Chunin to go fight S-rank criminals, and look how that turned out. He said, glaring into her eyes, not even worried when she balled up her fists. Tsunade gave Sasuke an angry glare. Just who the hell do you think you are? She grumbled. I'm recruiting Orochimaru, and we're gonna settle this. You just get back in your office and finish all the damn paperwork, Dashta. Tsunade then grabbed Sasuke by the collar and kept a tight grip as she yanked him towards her so hard she could have torn it. You've always been like this since I've first seen you. Always so damn risk-taking and act as if nothing could ever go wrong, and sometimes force yourself into unnecessary missions. Tsunade yelled in his face. I'm making a decision that you haven't even thought about. I take risks for the sake of you and my friends. Sasuke yelled back. You're trying to protect us without even thinking about your own damn life. Sasuke released himself from Tsunade's grip, and they both glared at each other, one in anger and the other in annoyance. Orochimaru is the best chance we got. If you really want all the people of Konoha to be safe from the Akatsuki, then you'd let me do this. Sasuke said, I'm just gonna do it anyways. Tsunade stared into the raven-haired boy, into his pitch-black dark eyes before sighing and turning her back to him. Do what you want, I don't care anymore. But I'm telling you that it's completely pointless. Tsunade walks away, biting her lip as she thought about all worst outcomes of what could happen to the Uchiha, but she's finally letting him get what he wants most. That damned brat. Tsunade thought. Sasuke reached the gates of Konoha, but before he could leave, he felt as if someone was following him and started to get even more annoyed. I know you're there. What do you want? He raised his voice a bit in slight anger before seeing a shy Hyuga standing there. Sasuke groaned and felt like just ripping his eyeballs from his head. First a heated argument with Tsunade, and now Hinata is following him. What do you want? I'm not in the mood right now, and I have to get going quickly. Sasuke said as he watched the shy Hyuga fiddle with her fingers and looked at the ground. I heard why. You and Hokage-sama arguing. She stuttered before lifting her head at the stoic Uchiha. Or why? You really trying to recruit Orochimaru? Yeah? What's it to you? He says a bit harshly, which made Hinata slightly gasp. Let me come with you. She responded. Sasuke cursed under his breath, and he turned his back to her. No, go back to your team. He says, but that didn't work. Sasuke-kun, your G. Going to need all the help you can get. She called out. Hinata almost rolled her eyes, but kept her patience like always. Orochimaru might not be up to an agreement, and there's no telling if Heichi has allies other than K. Kabuto, you're going to need the help you can get. I'm fine, Hinata. Just get back to your group. This is my mission, and I'm completing it. Alone. He said, and he turned to look at the slightly hurt Hyuga. He shrugged it as he walked away again, but stopped once he heard Hinata's soft voice mention his dearly missed friend. You said Naruto-kun taught you that the only way we can get through so much is if we work together. She said, not stuttering once to Sasuke's surprise. "You even said that we'll need all the help we can get even if it's just one person," Hinata said again, her face turning slightly red from embarrassment, but this needed to be said. "Sasuke-kun, I already told you back at Ichiraku that I will stand by your side. I still mean it to this very minute. We've already lost so much, from the third Hokage to Naruto and now Asuma-sensei. The village can't lose you either," she says, and Sasuke tries to move his feet, but it's like he's stuck, wanting to hear what else Hinata had to say. "You're almost underestimating Orochimaru's power and think you can do everything yourself because no one else can. Well, this time I'm going to prove you wrong. I will fight by your side, Sasuke-kun, and I promise to be of any help in the best way I can. So please, let me come with you. I promise you won't regret it," Hinata said before covering her mouth. Her face was extremely red in embarrassment. She had never talked like that to anyone, not even her own teammates. So this was definitely a first for her, and she looked down in complete embarrassment and blushed so hard she felt like she was about to pass out right there. Sasuke looked at her in almost complete shock, mostly because she didn't stutter once, but he could also feel that Hinata was telling the truth about fighting beside him and being there for him. For a shy Hyuga like herself, she was able to convince him very well. "HN," was all he replied with as he lifted a hand and signaled Hinata that she can tag along. She looked up and her eyes became bright, and she smiled at her own accomplishment and proudly ran to him and stood next to him with a smile on her face and slightly blushes, and Sasuke couldn't help but slightly smile back at her. "Let's get going. We don't have much time." Naruto had finally made it to Konoha. Instead of going to the other village where he met Tsunade, the Kyuubi had somewhat convinced him to come back to the Leaf one last time. He noticed there were a slight few changes to the village. He looked around and smelled very delicious food from the restaurant Choji always likes to go. As much as he wanted to eat, he had decided to wait a little longer before he could. He had already used the jutsu to change his hair color, while also having on an Yinbyu mask from which he stole to go with his messy attire, considering he already has a sword on his back. He needed a hotel more than anything. It was already night, but there were a few shops still opened up. Naruto needed some rest, a comfortable one too. He not-seed his appearance as well, and needed some new clothes indeed. The ones he has on now are dirty, smelly, and even torn from his battle with Deidara. As if on cue, he noticed a store that had fresh clothes, and he sighed in relief before he headed inside. "Welcome. Feel free to look around, and let me know if you need help," he heard a grown man say. Naruto didn't respond and slowly walked around the store while gaining a few gazes from the people around him. They had uncomfortable and nervous looks as they stared at him. His footsteps were heavy as he looked around the shop. He then stopped to see a cloak, a short-sleeved cloak he thought was really cool as well, and looked similar to the fourth Hokage's cloak. Except the colors were different, and there was nothing on the back of it. The cloak mostly caught his attention because of the orange color and the black flames at the bottom and the end of the sleeves. He smiled as he admired how cool it looked. "Kid, no, I'm getting it. You probably don't even have enough money for it. Well, I have my ways of getting things for free, if you know what I mean." Naruto took the cloak and held it in his hand and stopped to notice some black shinobi pants, which he also grabbed and added to it. He grabbed them both along with a mask similar to Tobi's and puts it on the counter. The man looked at Naruto nervously and spoke. Is this all?" he asked. Naruto simply nodded as the man scanned the clothes and told him the price. "I see." Naruto then grabbed the clothes and tried to take them until the man put his hands on them. "Hey, what do you think you're doing? Getting the clothes, Baka." Naruto responded bluntly. "You're gonna have to pay first." Naruto tried to grab it again, but the man grabbed his wrist and kept a tight grip on it. "Listen here, you brat. Either you get out this shop or dash." Naruto looked up at the man, his eyes flaring red with a black-lined pupil going down as he stared deep into the man's eyes. He had let Kurama take over for a bit. "Get your damn hands off of me right now before I make one big mess in this shop. I don't like repeating myself either." Naruto kept his gaze on the man's eyes and quietly growled as his nails grew sharp. The man fearfully but slowly moved his hand, slightly shaking as Naruto grabbed the clothes, and his eyes turned from red to black, empty eyes. The customers around looked at him a bit scared after what they just witnessed, and watched as he left the store with his clothes and mask with a smile on his face. Wasn't necessary to say all of that Kurama. People in this world have to learn some way kid. Sasuke's POV. Sasuke and Hinata had been walking for almost 3 hours straight, without any rest. The two of them walked in a complete peaceful, yet awkward silence as they tried to reach their destination. The shy Hyuga was tired but tried not to show it and tried to keep her heavy breathing quiet. Sasuke noticed that they had been walking for quite some time because of the sun going down, but he still had plenty of energy left. However, he was more focused on his destination instead of his comrade. When he turned back around, he noticed how tired she was, mostly because of how far behind she was from him, and he could see little droplets of sweat going down her forehead. "Hinata, let's take a break here," he tells her, and she quickly averts her eyes to him. "And no, I can keep dash." Before she could even finish, she suddenly felt her legs getting weak and her eyes closed for a second. Before her legs even hit the floor, she felt hands on both sides of her torso. Her eyes opened to see Sasuke standing there with the same expression, of course. She tried to stand, but her energy in this hot weather was extremely low. "Guess there's no other option," Sasuke said to himself before doing something unexpected. Before Hinata could even say anything, she felt herself being lifted off the ground. She almost yelped in surprise before realizing Sasuke was giving her a piggyback ride. "Get all the rest you need. This is the only way we'll get to Orochimaru fast," he said, looking into her eyes, in which she quickly turned away. She wrapped her arms around his neck before she blushed deeply from this unexpected move from the Uchiha. Sasuke didn't pay any attention to it, though, and walked towards the direction of the waterfall, ignoring Hinata's blushing face. Hinata's face was red for almost 5 minutes before she closed her eyes and rested her head on Sasuke's shoulder. She might have been pretty heavy to anyone, but not much to Sasuke. To him, it's like he was picking up a puppy. He listened to Hinata's soft rhythmic snores for almost 40 minutes that it sounded so calming to him. On top of that, birds were chirping as the wind blew, and he'd feel the breeze against his face as he followed the path to Orochimaru's hideout. Time skipped to the next day. Before Sasuke knew it, they were in a deserted area. He looked all around, but it's like there was nothing off in the distance. He then heard Hinata's soft groan, and she began to wake up. She rubbed her eyes a bit before opening them slowly and looked around a bit confused. "Sasuke-kun, where?" "That's what I'm trying to figure out." Sasuke took the same route he did when him and Naruto had battle. He memorized it all, but once he passed the valley, he just hoped that he would get somewhere. "So you finally decided to join me, Sasuke?" They heard a voice say, and Sasuke, still holding Hinata, turned around to see Orochimaru standing there. Hinata shrieked a bit and got off of Sasuke's back and got in a fighting stance, but he puts his hand in front of her. The Uchiha wasn't even let alone surprised and kinda expected it. "I didn't come here to join you, but I didn't come to fight you either," he said. "Then what brings you here then? Seems like you and your girlfriend have a mission to find my hideout." Sasuke ignored Orochimaru calling Hinata his girlfriend and continues with his reasoning. "We're here to recruit you, to bring you back to the Leaf. Not as a prisoner, but a comrade." The snake Sannin shook his head and slightly chuckled. "I'm guessing Princess Tsunade sent you here?" "Not even. I came here on my own free will, even when she tried to stop me," Sasuke responded. Orochimaru knew that the Leaf would never want him back, especially after killing their previous Hokage, but he wondered why out of all of them, Sasuke would want him back. On the other hand, he's the only one who knows Naruto is alive, so he could easily tell Sasuke, right here, but he kept quiet, still not trusting his words. "What makes you think I'll just be welcomed back to the village? After all, I killed Lord Third and had fought Tsunade and Jiraiya 4 years ago," he said. "You're right, you won't be welcomed with open arms, but you won't be welcomed so roughly if the 5th Hokage is okay with it," Sasuke said as he stood in front of Hinata. "And if I don't come back?" Sasuke then flared his Sharingan and puts his hand on the handle of his sword. "Then I'll take you by force, you and Kabuto both," he told him as Hinata got in a fighting stance once more without Sasuke stopping her. "Thought you said you didn't come here to fight," Orochimaru pointed out. "I will if necessary." Orochimaru learned of Sasuke's moves back at the Forest of Death, but he was quite curious about Hinata considering she is a part of the Hyuga clan. The snake Sannin stared deeply into Sasuke's Sharingan. "You handled yourself pretty well during the Chunin exam, Sasuke," But why worry about me so much? We already took down one Akatsuki member, but barely. Now another one has died, but by the hands of someone else. And just recently, we lost a very good man to 2 members of the Akatsuki. Sasuke responded, "Your help would be greatly appreciated. And if the Leaf isn't ready to accept you then, I am." Orochimaru's smile had faded away as he looked at the Uchiha. Sasuke was willing to join Orochimaru to help get revenge on his brother, but now here he is, convincing Orochimaru to join. How the tables have turned, he questioned if this is the same Sasuke from the forest. "I'll go," the snake Sannin said, "on one condition." "HN," was all Sasuke responded with as he raised a brow and looked at him curiously. "You'll be trained by me and me only, not any of the Leaf senseis. I promised you that you would get stronger because of me if you want to defeat the Akatsuki and get revenge on Itachi," Orochimaru said, and Hinata looked up at Sasuke worriedly. "Sasuke-kun, why? You're not really considering this, right?" she asked. "You have a deal, Orochimaru." Sasuke responded, "Sasuke-kun, it's all right, Hinata. After all, it would only be fair. And if we need to defeat the Akatsuki, we could use all the strength we can manage." Sasuke responded, "What are you doing?" Sasuke asked, "You thought Kabuto was the only person I worked with? I have 3 more people who can prove useful," he says as he sent the snakes to deliver the messages. They slithered away very quick. A few seconds later, Sasuke noticed a hawk in the sky coming their direction. He held out his arm, and the hawk landed on it, and he noticed rolled up paper on the side of its claws. He took out the paper, and the hawk flew away as he opened it up. From the handwriting, he could easily tell that it's from Lady Tsunade. He stood there a bit surprised, which Hinata noticed. "Is Sasuke-kun? What is it?" she asked. Shikamaru, Choji, and Ino had left the village last night to go find the 2 Akatsuki members who had killed Asuma. Kakashi-sensei is with them as well. He gave Tsunade the exact location of where they are, he said as he crumbled up the paper. Before Sasuke could head the direction they needed to go, he gave one last look at Orochimaru. Still a bit untrustworthy. "Lead the way, Sasuke," he told him. "Let's go, everyone," he said, and they all began running, Hinata and Orochimaru both following Sasuke. Naruto's POV. Naruto had on his new outfit and mask on as he walked around the village. He once again smelled some delicious food, but not from the restaurant, but from a ramen stand. He read the shop's name, Ichiraka Ramen. Man, it had been so long since he'd seen that name. He remembered back in his academy days when he had so much love for the ramen, and the only people who had showed him love back was the old man Tucci and his daughter Ayam. If he was still a part of the Leaf, he would have probably been having a huge smile on his face as he walked towards the ramen stand in excitement. But now he stood in front of the shop like it's just any regular food stand. Would hurt to have a bite, he thought as he walked in and saw the old man and his daughter there. "Hello there, Dash. Come on in," the old man yelled, which instantly wanted to make Naruto cover his ears. "Yeah," was all he could respond with as he sat down. "What would you like?" He heard Ayam ask cheerfully. "She still hasn't changed, that's good. What would you prefer?" Naruto asked. Well, if you want, for starters, you could try regular ramen and then work your way up." Ayam said, "Well, I guess I would like an extra large miso with pork cutlets and a Naruto fish cake," he said, his tone of voice not having any emotion in it, which almost freaked them out. She chuckled softly as she turned his back. "Sorry, you just reminded us of someone from 4 years ago who would have the same thing. He was one of the most charming kids ever," she said as they prepared the ramen, and Naruto sat there just waiting. A few minutes pass and they serve it. It smelled wonderful and was still hot like it used to be. Naruto grabbed chopsticks and dug right in. He lifted his mask a bit to where only his mouth was showing as he took a bite into the ramen. The moment the ramen touched his tongue, he was instantly hit with so many memories back then. He missed the taste of ramen so much, he couldn't help but take another bite into it. He slurped down every bite. He took his tears were forming in his eyes. Sometimes he wished it didn't have to come down to this, but now it's like there's nothing he can do at this point. He finished his meal in less than 3 minutes as he wiped the tears from his eyes. He put his mask back down again before speaking into his dark tone of voice again. "Arigato for the ramen." He gave them both the money for the ramen before bowing. "See you later, Ayam," he said as he walked out. "Huh? He knew my name?" She shrugged it off, and continued doing her job. Naruto left before he saw Tsunade standing across from him with ANBU around her. Team Asuma and Kakashi have already found the Akatsuki who killed Asuma. Shikamaru plans on killing them, and I already sent Sasuke a message about where to meet them. She said, I want you two to get there as well. They're around the Sand Village. I believe find them and help them. I want those two Akatsuki bastards dead. Huh? The two EMBU members said, and Naruto balled up his fists. Kurama, wake the hell up! Naruto yelled mentally. Hey, no need to yell. What is wrong with you? I found out where Kakuzu and Haiden are build up chakra right now. It seems like Shikamaru and his team are fighting right now. Let them handle it then. No. I already told you that if anyone is killing those bastards, it's going to be me. Naruto then ran out of the Leaf Village in a hurry. He had so much rage built up in him again that he smiled along the way about how he could kill Kakuzu and Haiden. Things were going the way he wanted them to, and he was grateful for it. First 8 era, and now he gets a 2 for 1. This was definitely going to be fun for him. Naruto ran for almost 20 minutes. His blood was pumping with hatred. He wanted Kakuzu and Haiden dead so badly that his feet was hurting because of how hard he would stomp them against the ground while running. He was careful of his surroundings and knew some things about the duo, but not a whole lot. Could I sense some chakra nearby? We must be close. Naruto nodded mentally and sped up faster. He didn't know who to deal with first though. He hasn't really seen much of Kakuzu's skill when he was in the Akatsuki, and he'd seen very little of Haiden's abilities too. It didn't matter anyway. He promised himself that he would kill them and the Akatsuki, so that's exactly what he's going to do. Naruto barely stopped his tracks completely. He had almost ran into so many paper bombs in a forest. There were at least more than 50 strung up all around the trees. The hell? He thought before he heard some yelling off in a distance. We've arrived, Kit. Naruto followed where he heard the yelling while also avoiding all the paper bombs that could easily blow him up into little pieces. He questioned if 1010 had come along. After all, she was known for her weapons when Naruto first laid eyes on her. But then again, how would she have the time to make so many? Naruto ignored it for now and shifted his main focus on what he really came here to do. He then stopped in his tracks again when he noticed the same blood ritual he saw where Asuma died. Haiden was definitely here. Naruto then noticed someone on the dirt floor. He took a good long look before realizing it was Shikamaru. He was hurt a bit and laid there as he tried to get up but just couldn't. So weak. A voice said, which made Naruto hide quickly. He saw a man with slicked back gray hair and a red 3-bladed scythe. His skin was all pitch black with white lines around his face and body. Haiden, Naruto whispered to himself, and he saw the man step in the ritual and lift his scythe. Let him die, Kit. Naruto stared at the helpless Nara. Before it seemed like his body moved on its own. Before Haiden could stab himself, Naruto had made his sword come in contact with it, which surprised both Haiden and Shikamaru. The two struggled as their blades were scraping against each other's, and Shikamaru looked up in shock and felt frozen. Naruto then kicked Haiden out of the ritual and jumped back in front of Shikamaru. You just gonna lay there, baka? He said bluntly as Shikamaru finally came to his senses and stood back up. Who? Doesn't matter. Get back to your team and leave me to him. Naruto responded. His Sharingan flared behind the eye holes of his mask. Get lost! Naruto yelled, and Shikamaru instantly got out of there, following his orders as Haiden stood back up. Team, who the hell are you sticking your nose in other people's business? Haiden yelled. That doesn't matter. Someone like you deserves to die. And that's exactly why I'm here. Naruto smiled behind his mask. Naruto then took off his mask unexpectedly when he saw Shikamaru leave completely and puts it in the inside pocket of his cloak. Naruto, Uzumaki. Haiden grumbled. No way. You're supposed to be dead. You're right. I'm supposed to be dead. But I'm not. Naruto smiled before instantly rushing towards Haiden with his sword. Haiden barely dodged his attack and almost ran into the paper bombs. Naruto came up from behind him and delivered a hard kick which knocked him back. You think you could just join the Leaf again, huh? Naruto ignored him and had began doing a hand sign. Kagebunshin no Jutsu, and outspawned 2 shadow clones. I'll be damned if a little brat like you kills me. Haiden yelled. One of the shadow clones charged at the talkative man only for its attack to be dodged before his scythe penetrated through its head. He watched as the clones poofed away. The scythe was then aimed at Naruto, and it extended to his surprise. The blonde had dodged it thanks to the Sharingan, and had taken a few steps back in almost complete shock. Just what the hell kind of weapon is that? He thought before noticing Haydn running towards him. He was kicked in the gut, which sent him back as the other shadow clone charged towards Haydn. Haydn tried to get a hit on the clone, but it successfully dodged his hit and took out a kunai and stabbed the man in the throat. Oh, that hurt deeply, Haydn said in sarcasm, and the clone slightly gasped before getting kicked and impaled by his scythe and poofed away. Naruto realized this was going to be harder than expected. He knew about Haydn being immortal, but he was even able to withstand a vital spot to his surprise. "No more clones, Naruto. Just you and me," Haydn said as he got a hard grip on his triple-bladed scythe. "Perhaps Pain or Toby would like your head as a return." Naruto tried to remember most things about his enemy. So far, he knows that Haydn can withstand any pain and his scythe can extend, but to how much? Before Naruto could even think of anything else, Haydn had jumped over the blonde as his weapon extended again. Naruto put so much force in his feet and kicked it away, almost breaking his foot in the process. Naruto wanted to use a Rasengan, but could he with all these paper bombs? Could he use any ninjutsu? If he were, it would basically be suicide. Naruto decided he couldn't get careless with his attacks anymore, especially against Haydn. He had to play it smart. "Kakebunsin no jutsu," he said, and spawned another clone before the two of them spread out. Haydn watched both their movements before he saw them charging towards him. You just don't learn," he said as he simply jumped up behind and kicked the real Naruto into the shadow clone. The clone disappeared, and Haydn took the opportunity to get the hurt Naruto. He extended his scythe again towards the blonde. Naruto tried to dodge it again, which he barely did, but Haydn was able to get a scratch on his right cheek, just below his eye. Perfect. He smirked as his scythe came back to him. He licked Naruto's blood as if it were nothing and stood back in his ritual. Naruto stood there confused a bit before jumping onto a tree and taking out his sword. He jumped to another tree and another before charging at Haydn. "Take this," Haydn yelled before stabbing himself in the leg. Naruto suddenly then felt a sharp pain in his leg and lost his balance. He fell to the dirt ground and looked down. His leg was bleeding, but when did he even get hit there? The sharp pain there would not go away as he winced. He wondered what the hell was going on. He was just fine a few seconds ago. "Hee, you stupid kid," Haydn said as he took the blade out his leg. Naruto tried to stand, but Haydn had stabbed himself in the other leg, which made Naruto fall face first into the ground. He used his arms to lift himself up again and looked at where his enemy was standing. Naruto had finally came to realization, and his face was evident enough to show it. "So, you finally realized it, huh? You feel pain wherever I want you to. Shame. All that training with Toby, and you could barely keep up." Haydn smirked. "Don't worry. I'll be sure to inform him and everyone that it's all been taken care of. I would say it was nice having you in the group, but it wasn't," Haydn said as he took his scythe out his leg and raised it high. "Now," Haydn grumbled as Naruto watched his every move with wide eyes. One final swing came down to Haydn's chest as he stood there, a sinister smile on his face. He watched Naruto's body fall back in satisfaction. "So weak." Haydn chuckled as he took the blades out his chest and stepped out the ritual. "Now, onto my money hungry of a teammate Kakuzu," he thought as his smile never left his face. Naruto's eyes stayed closed for almost 10 seconds until they shot back open again. Haydn sensed another chakra and turned to look behind him only to see Naruto's arms move as he slowly started to get up. Impossible," he muttered as he watched the blonde stand up as if he felt no pain in his legs anymore. "Don't get so cocky, Haydn," Naruto said before looking up into his eyes. Haydn noticed his eyes had changed color. They used to be the Sharingan, but now it was just plain red with a thin pupil going vertically down the middle. He noticed Naruto's whiskers had looked different as well, and his nails grew really sharp as his canines were now visible. Finally, he saw a red chakra form around the blonde, much to his surprise. Is this? Before he could even think, Naruto had appeared beside him and punched him in the gut. He punched him in the gut, even more almost lifting the man from the ground as he finally began kicking him as well. He delivered one hard kick, just enough for Haydn to go flying up in the air, only for Naruto to jump and send him back down with another kick. His scythe fell beside him, and he quickly grabbed it and extended it towards Naruto, but the boy grabbed the wire cable and wrapped it around his wrist and pulled extremely hard that he basically dragged Hayden against the floor and next to him. Naruto broke the weapon in two before grabbing Hayden with one hand and throwing him up into the air. As Hayden was sent flying, Naruto took the opportunity to make a Rasengan. But this one was different. Naruto jumped high into the air as well, and Hayden noticed the blue orb in his hand with white blades around it that it looked like a shuriken. Now! Naruto smiled as he brought down the blue orb against Hayden's torso. He yelled as he watched it pierce through his chest completely as they both fell towards the hard ground. Naruto, on the way down, then grabbed his sword and with one quick slice then brought it to Hayden's neck and watched as his head was removed from his shoulders. The two fell down against the dirt ground, surprisingly not hitting a single paper bomb. Naruto landed on his back roughly, but was still okay. He got slowly sat up, heavily breathing, and looked over to see Hayden's body with a big hole in its chest. He smiled at his work before he heard yelling. Oi! Oi! Team! He heard and looked over to see a head. Hayden's head to be exact. The color of his skin had gone back to normal. You son of a bitch! You should have been dead the moment your body fell. He yelled, and the red chakra around Naruto dispersed. Arigato! Kurama, don't thank me now, kid. You have something to take care of. Kurama smiled. Naruto chuckled. Always bitching. He said to Hayden as he got back up. Team, Kisame failed his damn mission to kill you, and now I'm actually about to die to fucking kid. Hayden yelled. And now you join the damn leaf again. I didn't join the leaf, damn it. I'm doing this alone. I'm going to go make sure the Akatsuki knows what it feels like to abandon someone who had done so much for them. Naruto said as he picked up Hayden's decapitated head, blood dripping down from it. Oi! I had nothing to do with this. That bastard Pain, he caused this. He wanted you dead. Him and Toby both. Oh, I know. Naruto smirked. You fucking little brat. I'll kill you with my teeth. I swear I'll bite you to death, motherfucker. Naruto shook his head and chuckled a bit. Even headless, you just run your foul mouth over and over again. Team, you'll burn for this. You're going to rot in your damned grave. Hayden spat in his face. What was it you said earlier? Bring pain back my head. How cute. Naruto said as he playfully poked Hayden's eyes. Team, you know, Hayden, I wasn't expecting such a battle from you. After Deidara, I thought no one here in the Akatsuki would top the battle we had, but now, how I was so wrong. Naruto said as he reached in his pouch. You impressed me, Hayden, but you died a pitiful death. Just like Deidara did, and just like how the rest of the Akatsuki will. He said as he took out a paper bomb. Hayden gave Naruto a glare full of hatred, and Naruto just smirked. Say hi to Deidara for me. Before Naruto threw the paper bomb, Hayden spoke. Wait, he yelled, and Naruto looked back at his head. Hey, at least let me get a prayer in before you do it. He said, his voice full of hatred towards the blonde. Naruto chuckled as he sets down Hayden's head roughly against the dirt floor and stood up before turning his back to him. You got 5 seconds, he says before throwing the kunai into a tree nearby and jumping away. You little shit. You want get away with this. The Akatsuki will finish the damn job. Just you wait, you piece of dash. Finally, the bomb had exploded when Naruto got a pretty good distance as he heard the loud boom go off behind him as he put back on his mask and kept a smirk on his face. Naruto and Kurama laughed with each other before the two shared a fist bump. Kurama is still laughing as the blonde's laughter silenced. He was enjoying the revenge he desired more than he imagined. 2 Akatsuki members down, many more to go. Sasuke, Hinata, and Orochimaru were still running to where Shikamaru and his team were at. They had been running for quite a lot of time, and he was even surprised for the most that Orochimaru had decided to really stick along. The sun shined bright in his face as sweat went down his forehead. Boom! Boom! The loud explosion ahead almost startled Sasuke, but definitely scared Hinata. She almost froze right there, but kept her composure. The explosion was so strong it shook the entire ground. Sasuke looked over to see where the explosion came from and saw smoke going up into the blue sky. Hinata, check out what happened, Sasuke ordered. Hi. In an instant, Hinata activated her Byakugan and searched over to where the explosion took place. So far she had seen nothing but fire and destroyed trees from the impact. This meant 2 things. One of her comrades had made it out just in time. Or 2, She had either just lost a friend. I see nothing there. Just fire spreading and the impact it left. Hinata said. She looked away from the impact and saw 3 people struggling to fight someone. She had already noticed the 3. I found them, she said. Ino, Choji, Kakashi. They're all there. Good catch. What are they doing? Is their battle over? Sasuke asked. No, there's an enemy. Shikamaru told Tsunade-sama that there were 2 Akatsuki members, but now there's only 1. Meaning, the other one must be dead. Sasuke said before he felt a presence nearby, and immediately activated his Sharingan and drew his sword. Nice of you all to join. Orochimaru smiled, and Sasuke and Hinata both looked back to see for people running besides Orochimaru. He saw that one of them had white hair, with purple eyes, and a purple sleeveless shirt, and a long sharp blade on his back. But not just any blade. Zabuza's blade. He looked about their age as well. He then noticed a girl who also looked about his age too, with red hair, crimson eyes, glasses, and a lavender uniform. Sasuke looked at her in slight confusion and felt as if he'd seen her somewhere, but was not too sure. The girl caught a glimpse of him and was completely mesmerized as her cheeks turned a bit red and almost lost her balance when running. Sasuke was already annoyed. Next, he saw a man who looked slightly older and was tall. He had orange spiky hair, with red-orange eyes, and had a calm expression on his face. Next, Sasuke immediately noticed Kabuto beside them. He still looked the same. Relax, Sasuke. These are the people I called for help. Orochimaru said. Huh? Oh. Sasuke, Uchiha. The white-haired boy with purple eyes said, shocked almost. The sole survivor of the now slaughtered Uchiha clan? The orange spiky-haired man said. Isn't it said that your brother is the reason they're dead? Es Sasuke-kun. He heard the redhead call his name in a fangirl tone. Urusai. Sasuke said, clearly annoyed by all 3 of them already. He really didn't like how the orange-haired man mentioned his clan either. My clan or brother's name has no business coming out your mouths. He told them all. Orochimaru called you because you all could help fight, but from what I'm seeing, you all might be a bunch of idiots. Oi! Calm down. We just got here, and you're already trying to start something dash. Suigetsu, Sasuke is right. We gotta fight an Akatsuki member, so you better focus. Orochimaru said to the boy, whose name is Suigetsu. Akatsuki? They're already making their moves after losing a member? Kabuto questioned. I sense chakra up ahead a lot too. The redhead said, already on it, Karen. Orochimaru responded. Instantly, the 2 arrived, just on time to see what looked like black thread with a mask charging right at Kakashi. Right behind Sasuke, Orochimaru had extended his neck as a sword came out of his mouth and impaled the weird masked thing against a nearby tree. It was weird sight, seeing Orochimaru's neck extend like taffy before going back in place as his sword dispersed as well. Kakashi didn't even need to look to see who it was, and he just sighed in relief. Your timing couldn't have been better, he said through his mask. He was in a bit of rough shape because of how long the battle had been going on. Well, I'm more early than you. Sasuke responded as he looked over to see the enemy. He was quite tall and had green eyes, and his body was sorta scary. He had 2 more masks on his threads that seemed to connect to his body. Those threads came out of his upper body and even had some coming out his mouth. Sasuke-kun? He heard a voice call and saw Ino standing there alongside Shikamaru and Choji. Hinata? Choji questioned. They were about to approach, but stopped when they saw new people behind them both. It's all right, these are recruits, Sasuke said. The new recruitment stood behind him, one of them a bit too close to him with her cheeks red. Orochimaru. The Akatsuki member grumbled. You damn traitor. Kakuzu, it's been a long time. Orochimaru smirked. He still hasn't changed one bit. Sasuke Uchiha. Kakuzu said. So you're Itachi's little brother, you look almost exactly like him. Sasuke glared at the man once he mentioned his brother's name. His Sharingans flared. What makes you all think your reinforcements are going to work? Perhaps I can finish what your brother didn't. Hinata tried to say, but they all saw one of the masked threads charge, and Sasuke quickly jumped out of the way. Kakashi-sensei? What are those things? Sasuke asked. He got in a fighting stance. Funny enough, those are his hearts. He had all 5, but I already took out 2, and you took out the other. Take out the rest, Dash, Kakashi tried to explain, but saw thread charge at him again, and he barely dodged it. Then he might just die. Leave it to me, Sasuke said. He took out his sword and began to channel his Chidori through it. The rest notice this and look at the Uchiha in interest to see what he has planned. Sasuke waited for the right moment to send one of his hearts his way, and when it did, he began to try and time this perfectly. He read all the enemy's movements and jumped right when the heart was about to hit him and tried to slash right through it, but it wouldn't cut through all the way. Sasuke cursed under his breath as he quickly turned to see the man running towards them all. Suigetsu then stepped in and instantly tried to cut off Kakuzu's leg, but missed completely. Kakuzu tried to punch the boy, but when he did, his head just turned into water as he stood still. It was a bit of a surprise to Kakuzu that he didn't even realize Suigetsu was the distraction. Chidori Iso. Sasuke's lightning stream had gotten longer and instantly cut through one of the hearts. He cut the heart in a perfect half before withdrawing his Chidori, as Kakuzu felt like he was getting weaker. While feeling pain, the orange-haired recruit had began charging towards Kakuzu in an instant, gave him one hell of a punch that could easily break every bone in your body. The strength of this guy surprised Sasuke a bit as he watched Kakuzu almost get buried into the ground as the person who punched him laughed like a maniac, and Sasuke noticed he had a curse mark activated. "Yugo, let Sasuke handle this," Orochimaru said, and the man, whose name is Yugo, began to call down as his curse mark went away. "Kabuto, Karen, heal his team." "Hi," the two said and rushed over to where Kakashi, Ino, Shikamaru, and Choji were. Sasuke didn't even realize that Kakuzu's thread was coming from the ground and instantly wrapped around his foot and dragged him like a rag doll. "Son!" Hinata shouted as she tried to rush over to him, but Orochimaru put his hand on her shoulder. "He knows what he's doing," the Snake Sannin said with a big smirk on his face. Kakuzu held Sasuke in his face before slamming the Uchiha into the ground painfully and stood over him. Chidori Nagashi. Kakuzu had to act quick when he noticed Sasuke had lighting surrounding his entire body, but it was too late, and the enemy was electrocuted and sent back from the impact. He had to admit, that was a pretty smart and clever way of Sasuke to get out of his grasp. He got back up and realized he can no longer toy with him any longer. I mean, he's an Uchiha, and sure enough, these reinforcements could get in the way at any time. "Sasuke, I'd have to admit you're one strong brat," Kazuya said as the boy got back up on his feet as Setsu stood by his side, as if the two had been friends for a long time. Orochimaru joined alongside as well. "Your days come to an end here. Everything you and your partner caused ends today," Sasuke said. "I'll kill you." Sasuke stood there with a Chidori in his right hand as he glared at the enemy. "You're clearly misjudging me, you dash." A big impact came down on the enemy as sand flew everywhere and into everyone's eyes. Sand went down their throats, and they coughed as if they couldn't breathe. "Eha!" Everyone heard the loud, painful scream behind the big sandstorm, and each worried as if it were their comrades who were getting hurt. Some held their ground as others fell against the desert ground before another crash came down where the enemy should be. A few more seconds pass by, and it quiets down. Way too quiet indeed. Karen wiped her eyes to get the sand out while also trying to clean her glasses as well. "Oi, Sasuke, what the hell happened?" Shikamaru called. "No idea." Sasuke shouted back as the sand began to clear out. Everyone got back up from the ground and dusted sand off of them. Almost everyone cursed under their breaths, wondering who or what caused this huge sandstorm. Is everyone okay?" Kakashi asked. "Hi." Most responded before hearing a soft, slight gasp from Hinata, which made Sasuke's head turn quick. "Hinata, what's wrong?" he asked as he stepped forward when the sandstorm had finally been put to a stop. He looked to where the enemy was at and saw Kakuzu laying against the ground. But it was a horrifying view. His last heart had been destroyed, and his torso had been slashed with a huge hole in his stomach area. Lastly, his head was nowhere to be found. Blood was everywhere. It was a horrific view, but what caused it? More importantly, who caused it? "Oh my Kami," Choji muttered. "What is it?" Ino asked. Everyone's eyes, except for Sasuke's, widened in shock of how this just happened instantly and unexpectedly. "Oh, Kami," Ino said as she found herself gagging and turned away and waited to throw up, but nothing came. Sasuke stepped up and stood in front of Hinata to keep her from looking at the body any longer. He also had to stay alert just in case the person who caused this were to come back in an instant. Who on earth could have done something this monstrous? Kakashi questioned as everyone stood frozen. Naruto's POV. Naruto smiled behind his mask as he walked through the forest. The day was still bright with a beautiful blue sky and clouds. Naruto's hair went back to blonde as he removed his mask with his left hand. He had blood on his clothes and a little bit on his mask. Mostly, his sword was stained with fresh blood after his battle. He exhaled as he felt a gentle breeze blow against his sweaty skin as he walked further with nothing but a stoic expression. He looked down on his right hand. He was gripping Kakuzu's hair tightly as blood dripped down from where he cut his head off. He dangled it a bit as he kept his stoic expression. Such a damn annoyance, he muttered and threw the head on the floor. Let the maggots eat away. Naruto looked back at the head. Kakuzu's eyes stayed open and the color in them was gone. He looked back at the bloodied trail he left. I guess Sasuke and the rest left the easy part to you, kid. Naruto shrugged and continued walking. He needed to find a lake or something to help clean his now bloodied clothes. 3 Akatsuki members have now died in the hands of Naruto Uzumaki. He thought long and hard about who should be next. Itachi? Pain? He didn't care who was next. He held on to his promise of killing everyone in that organization, even if he died in the process. Suddenly, Naruto grinned. He grinned from ear to ear, seeing how things were going according to plan. That grin never left his face as the breeze blew against his face and hair again, and he walked farther away from the head on the ground. Sakura's POV. Sakura was currently walking through the village alongside Tenten. The village was once again peaceful. Children playing, parents working so they can put foods in their children's mouths, and most people were helping each other out and shared laughs with each other. The two stopped at the small bridge above the river and just stared into the clear, fresh water. Sakura couldn't help but worry about Sasuke and Hinata both. In honesty, she was worried about 2 things. Don't worry, Sakura. I'm sure Hinata and Sasuke are okay. They might be on their way back right now with Shikamaru and the rest. Tenten comforted. It's not just that, Tenten. I'm worried. I still can't get over this mask guy Shizen brought up. Sakura frowned. Tenten sighed. Still on that? I mean, I don't see why we should worry about him if he already defeated an Akatsuki member. Tenten said, what if he's on our side? Then why isn't he here? Sakura pointed out, and Tenten stayed silent. A lot of things are going on right now. First, some mysterious man, Asuma dying, and now Sasuke wants to recruit Orochimaru. Sakura exhaled sharply as the sun shined bright on her skin. It's been a stressful week. She'd been working more late in the hospital than she usually does, while also having to stay alert about the Akatsuki and the masked person. When was the last time you got some rest? Tenten asked. Can't even remember. Probably only 4 hours. Sakura sighed. At least you're doing something helpful here in Konoha. Can you imagine what it's like having to deal with Lee and Guy Sensei's shenanigans? Tenten joked as she thought about her bushy-browed comrade and her bowl-haired sensei. Sakura almost chuckled at the comment as it made her think about a familiar blonde-haired knucklehead. She thought about him and how he might be proud of her, that she was trained by Tsunade and is now her medical apprentice. She was soon snapped out her thoughts as she heard a villager call out saying how Sasuke and the others had returned. Tenten and Sakura both quickly made their way to the gates. Sasuke's POV. Sasuke walked through the village with a bunch of eyes laid not just on him, but mostly on the people he brought. He heard a few villagers talking about Orochimaru and why their precious Uchiha would bring him here, after everything he's caused. Well, ain't the leaf just welcoming people? Sujitsu joked as he looked around at the frightened villagers. Sasuke ignored his comment and all the villagers as he made his way to the Hokage Tower. Sasuke. He heard Sakura call out as Tenten and her both came running and soon stopped in their tracks when they saw Orochimaru and his recruits. Why? You actually brought him? Tenten said as she gulped in slight fear. Sasuke walked away from them. Sakura, check Shikamaru and the rest. Hinata guide them to the Hokage mansion. He said, I know where it's at. Orochimaru responded. Still, you're not trusted, at least to them. Jiraiya is also here. Sakura said as she stood next to Kakashi. Sasuke nodded. Tenten, I need to talk to you a bit. No, but Sasuke-kun. Karen groaned as she grabbed his arm and held it tight. Just stay with us a little longer? Please. Sasuke doesn't respond and looks out the corner of his eye to see Hinata standing there. Her eyebrows furrowed as her cheeks turned slightly red and she impatiently fiddled with her fingers. He was able to get out of Karen's grasp and walked away as Tenten followed. The two never really talked much, so they were in an uncomfortable silence until they had reached the training grounds. He sat down against the tree trunk where Naruto was tied up during the bell test as Tenten sat beside him. Sasuke dash. He already knew what she was about to say. I brought him back so he could help us. Tsunade may not like it, but she's quite too old to be throwing fits like a child. I get that he could be of help, but you know our friends won't exactly approve of this. After all, his people were the reason why Niji and his team almost died when they went to bring you back. Tenten said, I don't care whether they like it or not. Tenten sighed in a bit of disappointment. Normally, she would be okay with the Uchiha's decisions, but this made her get a bad feeling in her gut. She thought she couldn't get even more worried until she heard his next words. I'm training under Orochimaru too. Tenten's head shot up. What? You can't be serious. She almost shouted. Relax, he said in his normal bored tone of voice. Years ago, he already wanted to train you for the wrong things. And now he wants to continue doing it. Tenten said, Sasuke, what if he's trying to get you stronger only to try and recruit you again? He won't. But what if he does? I won't let him. He grumbled. He was getting quite annoyed. Kakashi has been training you just fine. Tenten responded. Tenten, I said I have it under control. Tenten growled. Just train under Jiraiya or even Dash. Urusai. Sasuke raised his voice, which made Tenten gasp in shock as she watched him lay back against the grass. Sasuke mumbled something under his breath. She only heard a little bit, and it had to do with the word annoying. Tenten stared at the beautiful green grass, as if it were the most interesting thing in the world. The wind blew softly against her skin as she got back up. Fee, I guess I pretty much have no choice but to listen to what you say. I just hope I don't regret it. Can you at least help me clean my weapons a bit? Sasuke sighed. Tisk, get Niji to do it. After all, you do love him. He says, and Tenten instantly blushes and her eyes go wide. How do you know about that? She exclaimed. It's so annoyingly obvious. Sasuke responded with his eyes shut as he laid against the grass and felt the breeze blow against him. Has she really made it that obvious? Fine, I guess if it makes you feel better, see you soon, she said and ran off, her footsteps getting fainter. Sasuke looked over to a taraxacum flower and picked it off the grass and simply blew on it in boredom and watched as the pieces float in the sky. Time skipped. Sakura's POV. The sun was going down. The sky became a dark orange from the sunlight as the moon began to slowly rise up. Some shops were starting to close early, and children were heading back home for dinner. After checking up on Shikamaru and his team, Sakura decided to head back home for the night, but wanted to visit the grave before heading on home. But when she got there, she saw two strangers laughing and saying harsh words to the tombstone, even throwing trash at it. Hey, stop! Sakura yelled as ran over to the grave, and the two strangers instantly ran away, not wanting to get caught. She didn't bother chasing them and just stayed at the grave as she began to pick up the trash. She hated this. Hated how even after someone who fulfilled his promise to her and saved the village from Gaara Shikaku could still get hated by villagers even when dead. She just wanted it all to end. They never saw the true Naruto Uzumaki. They only saw what was sealed inside him. Nothing more. After picking up the trash for about 20 minutes, she had decided to head back home instead. Sometimes her mom will worry or sometimes get mad if she's out late. She opened the door. Tadaima, she called out as she left her shoes by the door and smelled delicious food and headed to the table only to be met with her mom. Mommy Dash, where were you? She raised her voice. It was going to be one of those nights again. Sakura sighed. I was at the hospital, and afterwards. Wait, where's Dad? She asked, and her mom rolled her eyes. Her dad came out their bedroom with a big smile on his face. The man looked a bit intimidating, but he was definitely joyous around his wife and daughter. Sakura dear, welcome home. He cheered as he picked her up again. Dad, don't you think I'm getting a bit too old for this? Sakura asked, but her dad ignored her as he kept spinning her around before finally putting her down. They turned around to see 3 plates on the table with some juice. She took a seat, and so did her dad. Her mom came back with 3 forks, but didn't look very pleased, and Sakura did her best to ignore her expressions. Her mom sat down and handed everyone a fork. Itadakimasu. They all said, and Sakura's dad, Kazashi, dug right in as Sakura took her time, blowing her food to the point it was warm. They all ate in an uncomfortable silence as Sakura would look back up at her mom for a quick millisecond, hoping she wouldn't make eye contact, because it would be even more awkward. You didn't fully answer my question, Sakura. Her mom said. Why does it matter? I came home, Sakura said before taking another bite, and her mom shook her head and sighed. You were at his grave again, weren't you? She said in a cold tone. Mabuki. Kizashi tried to interfere, but Mabuki put her hand up. Sakura slightly nodded as she took another bite. Of course. I'm not surprised anymore. Mabuki said. Why even waste your time going to that monster's grave? Sakura's eyes shot up. Mom! She yelled. Honey, that's enough. Kizashi said. Enough? TSK, that boy didn't deserve respect. He was the nine-tailed fox, you know that. Yet our daughter wants to defend him even after his death and pointless funeral. Sakura slammed her hand against the table as the juice spilled over. You didn't know Naruto. You just knew what the others were saying, she shouted. That loud boy was the cause of the Yondame's death and even caused a ruckus around this village. Mabuki yelled back. Naruto was never like that. Who the hell are you to judge him? Mabuki's eyes widened. Excuse me? He saved our lives and even saved Sasuke from falling into complete darkness. Sakura yelled even more as tears spilled down from her eyes. Sakura dash. Shut up. Just shut up and leave me alone. Sakura cried as she ran upstairs to her room. Sakura, don't even bother Kizashi. Mabuki said as she scoffed at her daughter's outrage and grabbed napkins to clean the mess. Sakura slammed her door and just slid down against it as she cried harder than before. She couldn't believe her mom said that. She knew her dad cared about Naruto and even had high hopes for the kid, but she never knew that her mom had a different perspective. Why? Why did you have to leave? She thought. She cried hard as she turned off the light and just laid down, not even bothering to change out her clothes as she cried herself to sleep. Naruto's POV. It's now nighttime, and Naruto had nowhere to sleep. He couldn't go back to Konoha because Shikamaru had seen his appearance and could be easily recognized. So instead, he decided to just sit against a tree and stare into the moon. He thought about how crazy it can be for the Akatsuki to lose a member then soon lose two others. Did he give a damn though? Hey, no. He simply smiles on throughout the day. But there was just one problem that bothered him. Why haven't I obtained the Mangekyo yet? Thought that if you killed someone, you get it. He asked. Baka, you only obtain it once you experience great loss of someone you deeply cared about. Naruto lets out a long sigh. It was a cold night, quiet and dark, just how he liked it. He listened to an owl in a distance as he began to clean his sword from the stained blood. While cleaning, he also began thinking about learning other chakra natures. He was practically getting used to his wind nature that he figured it would be helpful to him to learn even more in order to increase his strength. During his time in the Akatsuki, Toby had been teaching him about fire nature, but he wasn't able to completely master it. He figured he'd start training more tomorrow, but now he was completely exhausted and definitely needed to rest. He laid back against the tree looking up at the moon, holding a kunai in his hand as he closed his eyes slowly and fell asleep. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed exploring this What If with me. If you did, please consider leaving a like and subscribing for more videos like this. Your support truly makes a difference, and I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Let me know what you'd like to see next. Until next time, take care and stay tuned for more.